and some small cappers to burn with Sharif and Joseph. It's still in all caps. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. Take it easy, everybody. I have to yell it because.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That's your boy Joe. And I'm Sharif, and we're going to wait for everyone to come on over. Shout out to Darwin, 2 pimps, baby. Matthew Booth, JF Trader. We got a proper dang paradox. Kevin Hawthorne, welcome, my man. We got the world's greatest mod. He is Bears versus Bulls. Shout out to you as well. Good morning, Vic Yan, Novak. Good morning to you. The Skip Say, Oliver Saros. I'll get it right. I've been saying it wrong every morning. That ends here. Stock Up, Fiddlebeck. Racer X9 and BGZ. We got Edward Grin, Omar. Shout out to Omar. We got Joe Finero, Mina, Jose Rodriguez. Did you know? That's actually his name. I love that. Mary S. Lyman, love when she chimes in. Cass M. Rogelio Concepcion, the Badger. He's badgering people. Mike B. Bot 5000. SRMM something or another. It moved. Why not? It's all fake. I love that name. Yo, yo. But Adrian, the Tiedemann is chiming in. B, we got G. Sedgwick and Paul Thomas Johnson. Pitchbull, shout out to you, my man. Catman, New Mexico Misfit. He's doing things down there. 2 New York Cents. Mon on Monday. JF Trader, Hemel Patel. Shout out to everybody. Welcome to How to Trade. Your boy Joe's got one hell of an options lesson. I'm going to be all ears and all other sensory organs. You know I'm interested in this.
Hey, let's go. That's it, guys. You heard Sharif and everybody else today. We're going to be doing the options wheel, so get those snow tires on because we're going to be spinning. We're going to be having a great time. You got anything you want to touch, brother?
Yeah, man. I'm long here in SMCI. Already wet my beak on some profits there for a bit of a 20-penny winner. We're going to look. I went to the OB. He is the one, Knob, and I was talking to him about a possible mean reversion trade on SMCI, and he didn't give me the full nod. He said it could set up, but there's a couple of things that I need to see. I just want to look quickly at what SMCI did yesterday. We traded this one multiple times on the show. The reason I was interested or even showed me or even went to OB to talk about this, because we got into that key area of support yesterday, that implied balance low that we printed at 945. Shout out to Dan, the dang man Emmons. 47.25 was the double bottom that we put in yesterday. I think the second double bottom got put in at 10.10. Then we weaseled our way down yet again. Look at this ugly, ugly drop on SMCI. Nary a green candle there on the drop down. And then we found our footing at the $0.33 this time, not the $0.25. So right now we're rejecting the 10 period. We're kind of doing that umbrella pattern that Adira talks about. She's not here today, but she's here in spirit with this pattern. Look, I'm giving this to the low. So I'm going to give us quite a bit of room, see if we can weasel up possibly, Joe, into that volume-weighted average price, maybe even less ambitious is a 20 exponential moving average at 48.41, or I get stopped out. I already went my beak on some profits. Come what may, Joe, and that's a look. What are you doing, bro?
Hey, that's it, brother. You know what? We're going to talk some options wheel before we get into any of my trades, guys, because I think there's a lot we can talk about today. This isn't an overly complex strategy or system, but I think we can have a lot of fun with this one, guys. Okay. So let's just dive right in. We're going to dive right into the shallow end and get right into things here, guys. So are we ready to go? So, introduction, this is just basic things that we need to know in order to conduct the options wheel. As you know, I like to break things down, keep it simple, and then we can move forward, and then we put it all together. So one, we're going to break down the options wheel. We're going to know what CSPs are, covered calls, and leaps, and then we're going to go into stock selection, the technicals and fundamentals, and then the triple income strategy, and then and why they call it the triple income strategy, and then we're going to put it all together. Guys, it's not going to be overly complicated. It's kind of basic options trades with your long legs of stock, but let's dive right into this Sharif, all right? So let's get the party started. So the options wheel is a popular trading strategy amongst traders and investors. To understand the options wheels, first you must understand the 3 basic components. All right? So these are the basic components. Stocks, so you own at least 100 shares of stock, or you have a long anticipation equity, which is a leap in options, which is dated about a year or so or more out, all right? So one long-term equity anticipation security, a LEAP, or at least 100 shares of stock. This is the minimum requirements that you need in order to conduct this strategy. So a CSP. A CSP is a cash secured put. Also reduce cost basis on ownership of your specific stock, all right? And then you have the covered calls, or CCs. And these will boost your overall return and mitigate unrealized losses. So guys, these are the three main components. You're not gonna go with a LEAP and shares of stock. You're gonna go with either one, whatever works best for your capital, right? There's benefits to each one. So we know when you own outright shares of stock, it's gonna cost a little bit more. So what they call this is the poor man's covered call, or the poor man's options wheel strategy, where you buy an option contract that expires at least a year or more out, all right? So those are the two differences. That is the primary body that you need in order to run this strategy, all right? So then there's the cash secured puts. So what a cash secured put requires is that you have the minimum balance, or the equity in your account, in order for when you get assigned that on a put, that now you can afford to own those shares outright, because that is the intention of the strategy. But see, with the LEAP, you kind of skip out on that one step, right? But we're gonna focus on as if we have 100 shares of stock, Sharif, because I think that's the most popular one, all right?
Thanks.
So then covered calls. Covered calls is just now when you're in a long leg of stock that you want to sell calls against this position, hence why it's covered. You can't sell naked, so you initially have the 100 share of stock leg. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
true
it.
words
That's
were
it.
never spoken.
Ever.
Actually, a nightmare. Come on. I mean, he said you got to put on clothes.
You can't be naked when you're doing this stuff, right?
Can't be selling
we don't want to
naked.
do
They're
that.
gonna
You can
kick
get
you
in
out.
trouble, right? You just roll out of bed and start selling. No, you don't want to do that. So, guys, in all seriousness, these are the three components of the options wheel. They're not overly complicated. You're running essentially one at a time, all right, guys? So we have the stock LEAP, the stock or LEAPs, the cash secured puts, and then the covered calls when you own the shares, and then you start collecting premium, whether the leg of stock is working for you or against you, right? So it can boost your overall returns, and it can mitigate those losses until the stock starts moving in your direction, guys. So hopefully everyone's following with me so far. We have our three components, and now let's follow on to the steps required in order to execute this type of system. So, steps of the wheel. There are multiple steps required in order to execute the options wheel correctly, all right? One, first of all, you want to do your research on an underlying asset you would like to own for an extended period of time, not necessarily short term, but not also long term, right? So the thing is, with options wheels, you can continuously run this over and over and over again. And Sharif, we were talking about when we were at the Money Show, the guy liked to do it from a weekly standpoint,
right,
which is a slightly more difficult, but this is more of a longer duration type system that you want to run, around 3 to 6 months, all right? So things that you want to run like that. So it's a little bit longer. It's not like me selling credit spreads or anything like that, but this is a little bit slower of a grind, and that's why it can create those more consistent returns, right? Because we all know within the market, things take time, all right? So, 2, once you've done your due diligence, scroll through your options chain and select a strike price you would like to own the underlying asset and a time frame in which you would like to possibly own. The ideal with the cash secured puts and an expiry date is around 20 to 60 days DTE, like we previously said, right? So, guys, it seems like we may be jumping ahead, but after we're going to put it all together, all right? So these are just the basic steps in which we want to do and conduct these. And the positive thing about selling cash secured puts is that you are now waiting for that asset to come to you, right? So you're not just buying outright shares at whatever the market is offering or buying at the money leaps. What the CSP allows you to do is select a strike price and collect premium while you're waiting for the asset to come down to your price. So if you want to own shares of NVDA at not $140, which is roughly trading around, but you want to own it at $130, you can sell a 20 to 60 day DTE at $130 and collect premium with the intention of eventually getting assigned, But if you don't get assigned on that, then you can just sell the same thing over and over again until you do get assigned. All right, guys? So that's the second step in the options wheel. So the third step, you've now selected your short put and are waiting for the price to come to you. Once you get assigned on your short put, you now own 100 shares of the underlying asset. So that's the intention of the options wheel, and that's why stock selection and picking the correct stocks is really important, because you do essentially want to own this asset, but not necessarily at the value of what the market is offering it, all right? So that's what the options wheel intentions are, is that you now own a stock at a price that you want, but you've also collected premiums while waiting for that asset to come to you, all right? So holding your long leg of stock, you can now sell covered calls on that position, collecting premium while the stock appreciates and or mitigating risk while the leg of stock picks its direction. So we're now jumping ahead. So once we've been assigned on the puts, we are now the proud owners of NVDA at $130. Now what we want to do is start selling out the money calls, far out the money calls, to the point where we don't necessarily want to get assigned on these, but we want to allow the asset to appreciate. So we will sell far out the money calls where the premium's not that great, but the premium will never amount to what the appreciation of the long leg of stock is, all right? So that's something very important, guys. We'll hold it off there. We're on step 4. There's a lot more we're going to go, and we're going to head it off to Sharif. Guys, also, sorry, if you have any questions so far, you know what to do. Just put them in the chat.
Get into that chat.
Put them in the chat.
And guys, you got to be a sub. You got to be a subscriber to chat with us, to interact, you know, to harass the Katina man, to harass Joe and I. Only subs. And guys, I got to remind you guys about this. No harassing, the Katina man says. You can interact with us nicely. Like, subscribe, share. If you ever got value from the show, if you got value from what Joe just dropped right now with respect to the options wheel, it helps the channel out. And obviously anything we get, we throw back to you guys. We appreciate you, no question about that. SP, $5 super chat. What's up, my man? Sharif, what's your top 2 small cap gappers today? You're looking at it in one, my man. I was caught in a down halt here on NUZE, but I like this one. It's been doing its thing, 25, because I like 25, the number 25, because I'm born 25th. I'm looking at getting out near the top. My out is going to be below the area halt, the area halt over here at $1.20. Zigging and zagging right now. We're about 2 pennies out of the money. Let's see what this one does. Up 300%. We know it's small cap season. If it wants to stop me out, we're not using that big of shares anyway. I got to tell you guys that there is a way to get out or to send an order while this bad boy is halted. It's called a market on open order. Some people use them, some people don't. A lot of people use them to actually fill orders right at the bell. Remember all the orders on the New York book? They don't get filled until that 9:30 bell rings. Kind of similar to that, right? Market on open. If you get caught in a halt, down or up on these small cap gappers, make sure you program that on your whatever your shortcut keys or however you guys are doing things on your side. We have it here on P Pro 8 with the best trading or prop trading firm around. Shout out to Real Trading. So I was able to put one on, but I didn't really want to take it out here. I really wanted to stick to my my plan and looked for the high day break. I know full well we're putting in topping tail candles, but we're still above the 10 exponential. So I'm willing to give this one a little bit of room. We get stopped out, it's all good. Now, this one, SMCI, weaseled up to 48. We're long 47.70. I didn't wet my beak at 48 because that wasn't the plan, quite frankly. The plan is to wait for something akin to a 48 1/3 quarter, and at best, I'd like to see if we can weasel up into 48 3/4. Currently, right now, the volume weighted average price on my chart. We've been zagging right now on SMCI. Initially, we had some resistance at 80 pennies, $47.80. Then that resistance level went up to $48. We're putting in higher lows. There's nothing to write home about right now, but we're curling here. Shout out to Big Spile. I don't know if he's in the chat today. He likes those rounded bottoms. And this one kind of putting in what looks to be a rounded bottom. We'll have to see if that manifests or not. Still zigging and zagging right now on NUZE as it tries to defend that 10 exponential moving average on the 5, but we're not getting any direction here. Multiple halts in and around the same area. I'm liking what I see less and less right now from NUZE. Let's see exactly where the stop is in place so we can yap about that for a hot second. Where's this one at? NUZE, where is it? Script, that's SMCI, okay. So we'll put one over here, right there. Oh, I didn't get to put one because it was halted, I remember that, okay. Fair, there we go. Now we're in play there. No, got to take that one out. So we're gonna go like that, and then we're gonna take everything out there. There we go. So we'll look to defend that, and then we gotta put the beak wetter back where it was at that buck. Let's drop it down a little bit, $1.61, whatever. What's life without Whimsy, Joe? So that's what I'm doing there. What are you doing, my man?
Hey, we're just looking at the overall sector ETF, Sharif, and we're just seeing why the SPY it's still up about 0.25%, which is totally fine. But we like to scroll around and see what everybody else is up to, see what the tech sector is doing, see what XLF is doing. Because we love JP Morgan and we love the big banks. We just had them reporting not too long ago too. So we like to keep an eye on these guys here, guys. Because look, they just made all-time highs. And we're talking about the options wheel, and I want to use XLF in these sector ETFs to present that. Some of these sector ETFs are the ideal, they are the epitome of what you want to run these things on, right? Because they're gonna have the best companies, they're gonna have the top-weighted companies in each sector. And that's something that you want to own when we dive into the technicals and fundamentals of what stocks you necessarily want to select. So this is XLF, absolutely just continuing to trade to the top side. It's been absolutely fantastic. And this is something that you would look to run on the options wheel. You have a consistent trend that's moving to the top side, short consolidation phases, and when you do have a consolidation phase, you decide to take another leg up. So those are something that you would want to look into. And what I would do if I was going to run the options wheel myself on this was look, hey, okay, I don't want to own XLF where the price is now. It's kind of extended. It may look like it needs to pull back a little bit. And that's exactly why Sharif would sell some puts around $45 or just below at around $44 or so. Yeah, we may not be collecting an extreme amount of premium, but the goal is to own the underlying asset and to let it appreciate while just the premiums boost the returns of that asset when it's moving higher, all right? So the returns on the underlying will always outweigh what you collect in premium, but something like XLF is exactly what we want to look at when we're trading these types of strategies, all right, guys? So that's that. So we got the XLF moving, and then communications. So I haven't taken a look at Meta here today, but it is a little weak. Looks like it could be potentially heading back in towards this range and then consolidating a little bit. We'll see. Meta is, I think Netflix is tonight.
Yep.
Netflix is tonight, which is really, really big. And then we got some of the other big players coming up shortly too, guys. So this is coming in. I think there's a lot of hype going around this Netflix report.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people are waiting for I think some people are waiting for the stock to split too, so I don't know if they're going to announce that, right?
Dude, it's 700 and change. Well, right. 693 right now. Tough day, but I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people want to get their hands into this a little bit more. So maybe I don't know if they're going to announce that, but there is some noise going around that part. And then the tech sector with a little gap up, but relatively flat on the day, guys. And that's just how the overall market's looking. We're kind of treading to the downside, consolidating a little bit, still up on the day, but the primary trend seems to be a bit to the downside, guys. So yeah, TSM was an absolute rocker of the day. The thing was buzzing. It beat on EPS and revenue, and then it raised Q4 outlooks as well too. So expect this when you see this. When you see this within the stock, is that it's going to be strong, and especially the market and the street love when you raise guidance, right? So when the outlook is good, then look for the stock to be strong, guys. And unfortunately, I didn't get my my peak wet in this one. We missed out in this one. And you know what? I was kicking myself. I'm the hardest critic on myself, but that's okay because there's definitely going to be other opportunities, guys. And so you just deal with what happens and you sit down and you wait, and that's it. That's all you can do, Sharif. What do you got going on, brother?
I'm looking at these ones. I'm still dealing with the trade in NUZE. It's not really going my way, but the stop is in place, and come what may. The one that's doing all right now is kind of SMCI. I'm getting that rounded bottom, but I'm not getting that clear break and take of two different levels. The 10 exponential and the $48 level. They're both posing a bit of a problem right now for SPCE. On the other side of the coin, that was the kind of the bad look for the long. The good look is we've got a symphony of higher lows here, basically from 1045 onwards. Keep putting in those higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. So it's an interesting look, but it's not giving me exactly what I want. Now, some other small cap gappers or small cap gapper style trades that I'm watching right now. IRDM, what a bull flag. I mean, a great looking bull flag, but look at that volume bar. Look at that volume chart on the bottom. That's not what you want to see. I don't want to see that, not at all. In addition to, the volume decreasing, what's the total volume on the day? I feel it's a bit light. Yeah, man, 1.75 million shares, that's not going to cut it. Anything off the volume weighted average price, though, Fabian, I like this. $34 at around right here. Look what we did last time this thing even touched VWAP. It didn't spend any time there, and it gave you 50, 60, 70 pennies like that. Okay, so good look, IRDM. I'm also looking at FOLD, kind of the same look as IRDM. Bull flag, big move up, sideways consolidation north of the volume weighted average price. In addition, the similarities continue. Look at that volume, decreasing volume. There's no even zig and zag in the volume, like a pop up and then, a decrease again. No, it's like a slope downward. So it's not what I want to see from these small cap gappers. It's not going to always be small cap gapper season forever and ever more. So we're going to pack our patience. If anything sets up, we'll take it. I'm also keeping an eye, obviously, on TVGN. But the range per candle, and you'll often hear me talk about this when I speak about small cap gappers that are awfully volatile on an intra-candle basis. I don't like them, because they really throw off your stop placement. I mean, if I've got a deal on a dollar stock, okay, or $2, $1.85, $1.75 right now. If I have to deal with a range of from 182 down to 150, like what percentage of that, of the actual price of the stock is? I don't know, I'm not good at math, I can do it in a second, but the point to tell you is it's just too much range per candle for me to effectively manage risk. I don't like it unless it's really off a key technical area of support or resistance. I like the hold up at $1.40, $1.45, take your choice. I mean, the wicks go everywhere. On the other side of that coin, even though it looks bullish, we are putting in lower highs off the crest. So $1.90, then $1.85, and now we're south of $1.80. So packing my patience, see what comes. We breached on SMCI, we breached 48 again. Again and again it rejected. I'm going to hold off here. We're 30 pennies in the money, but this is not where we want to ring the profit bell. I'm waiting for that $0.25, or I'm waiting for $0.75. Reason is not just random levels. One is a 20 exponential moving average on the 5. The other is a volume weighted average price. What the hell is this one doing now? NUZE, double bottoming tail candles into that $1.25. Do we hold up here? I got to add at that $1.25. That will be the last dollar cost average I have on NUZE. It either goes up or breaches 120, but it's not going to catch me adding again. We'll see what we get here, Joe. What's the situation on your end?
Yeah, brother, we got some great questions in the chat regarding the wheel. So Chris Ivy, this is absolutely a fantastic question. I love it. So in your example there on XLF, what happens if you sell puts at 45, but it just keeps going way up? Do your premiums go up or down? Again, trying to wrap my head around this. This is new to me. And yeah, honestly, such a great question. So, Chris, what you want to do when the asset is continuing to move higher and you're selling puts lower, so essentially it's a credit. So you receive the premium. You are now essentially bullish when you sell these puts. And if the asset is continuing to move without you, that is totally fine, because essentially you are going to be still making money collecting that premium by selling the puts. You don't own those outright shares yet because you are selling them out the money, and it's continuing to trade higher out the money. Yeah, you may be missing out on getting assigned, but while you're waiting to get assigned, you continue to sell those puts, all right? So XLF continues to trade higher. It's now, you sell the 45s, it's now trading at 48, 49. What you do, Chris, is that once you've received the full premium or you collected a large amount of that premium, you can just roll that put higher to the point where you're like, okay, it looks like it wants to take another leg higher. Maybe I'll sell the 47s or the 48s 20 to 60 days out waiting to get assigned, but you don't want to chase it. So that's the benefits of having this strategy, is that you're waiting for price to come to you, but meanwhile, you are still collecting money, right? So we're selling 45s, the price is continuing to go higher, we are collecting premiums, we're collecting that passive income while price is appreciating, and then we can continue to sell them until price comes to us, and then we can be proud owners of however many contracts or however many shares of XLF that may be. So hopefully that answered your question, Chris. That's an absolutely fantastic one. Greg, yeah, you are right. They did look out raise full year outlook, so that's absolutely fantastic for TSM, right? So that's a good stuff there. And I have another one from Fugazi Bear. CIFR, I saw calls purchased yesterday on a 220 mil float. There was 20,000 contracts. Is that considered a large purchase of options? That is absolutely extremely large. So times 20,000 times 100, right? So that's a good percentage of that. It's like 10% if my math is correct of what that float is. So someone's gonna own a pretty large stake in that company there, Bear. So yeah, great question, guys. Chris, hopefully that answered your question. So one more we'll go through, Rivian Millionaire. When is the best time to do a covered call? For example, is it best to do a covered call when the stock is at its high or when the stock goes down? Well, that's total preference, right? So if you can do covered calls throughout the whole duration of you owning that asset. If you don't want to get assigned, if you don't want to give those shares away, you can just keep selling covered calls and collecting premiums. And if the stock decides to go down, you can still sell covered calls and collect premiums. And what that also does is mitigate your downside risk, right? So if the long leg of stock isn't appreciating how you would like, you can sell some calls on that position and reduce that loss by collecting those premiums. Or you can totally amplify the gains by selling covered calls in a stock that is appreciating, but that covered call is so far out the money that you're not going to get assigned on those, right? So the premiums, the farther out the money you are, the less premium you're going to receive. But that's the way you can create income upon income with this strategy, and I think that's really why investors like it. Fabian, I don't know why my positions aren't showing here. I'm long TQs here, and it's about to break VWAP, which we really like. Let me pull up my chart here. So guys, so far the questions have been absolutely fantastic, and really, really diving down into them, guys, and it's really, really good stuff. Yeah, what's up, Joseph? What's going on, brother? So yeah, we're here. We're long here at TQs, and it seems to be working. We seem to just reject VWAP here a little bit, but as you can see, we put in a potential bottom, took a leg up, pulled back, and then I'm looking to join that continuation in the trend over here, and that's exactly what we did. So if we get this break of VWAP, I know Bitcoin's starting to pick up a little bit of steam. NVDA is still chopping around VWAP a little bit here, so some of the big boys are just taking a breath, but I do think that this market can go a little bit higher. What do you got, brother?
I'm in 3 trades right now, man. Still waiting on this 48 SMCI. Still keeping an eye on NUZ. There's somebody buying this up at $1.25 every single time. For now, underline that. For now, how long does that happen? I watched the interaction with that $1.25 last time, and the size on the book got taken out, but all of a sudden this new size kept coming in. I've given my stop a fair degree of room over here. I want to see what it does. I'm also long now. TVGN as it broke out through the pre-market high. I didn't get the best price that I wanted. 208 highs. I've got 204s. It's 207 right now. I'm looking at wetting my beak through the break of 210. This one could be squeezing here. I put my stop a little bit below that 190 area to give it a bit of room, but it's zigging and zagging right now with $2. Does it hold? $2. Taking out that size. Look at that. That size is diminishing, but then it gets re-up every time. So interesting how this is trading at the whole dollar level. I do like using the whole dollar level as areas of support and resistance. So we'll see exactly whether this $2 actually wants to act as some sort of or support on the day. So packing my patience with that one. Let's see what this one does. 7s, 8s. We got rejected at 10s. 10s, there's a buyer at 10. There we go. We get the fill. Beautiful. Let's go up a little bit more, baby. Let's pamp up a little bit here. 214, 217 now. Let me see a bit more. We're 04s. We're going to take it out at a quarter. Simple as that. Let's put it at 25s because I'm born on the 25th and I like that number. Ooh. So let's go over here. 20 showing up, size at 20. Getting taken out. Look at this over here. Beautiful. I love watching this. It's probably going to reject. There you go. And then it comes right back in. Let's watch this as it unfolds. We've got a bit of a buffer now between our entry and the current price action. So that allows me some breathing room. But don't breathe too easily because we know how these small cap gappers do. They'll bamboozle you know what out of you. And here we go. Coming back into 10s. Last time there was a buyer at 10. Not stepping in this time at the buyer at 10. So good that we de-risk, but the stop well below where we are at now so I can give this one room to breathe. As I look on my side charts, I see that NUZE continues to hold that $1.25. However, it is putting in lower highs as I see it here, so that could be a concern. I'm not talking about TVGN, I'm talking about NUZE. I just can't flip to it right now because I got to deal with this one. SPCE is back at 48, and there's a symphony of higher lows there, so I like what I see, but I'm not getting what I want. So as you can see, there's a lot of chop and churn right now on TVGN as the buyers and sellers duel with one another. A bit of an equilibrium right now between said buyers and sellers. That's not what I want. I'm not here to play a straddle or whatever. I'm here to print on the move up. I had to throw that in there, bro. I had to throw that in there, right? Here we go. 20s. Let's get the 20s. There we go. 22s showing up, baby. No, that's not what we want. 22s aren't good enough, Joe. We want more.
We want
more. 25s, baby. More. 22s, 23s. Here we go. That's good enough for me. We're taking it out there. Good look on TVGN. I forgot what I was trading. So we'll look to get back into this bad boy if it wants to come back and test $2 again. All right, now let's look at this one. Oh, baby, NUZE's back up again, Joe. Let's go. We're waiting at $1.50 though. So we're break even now on this position. That's not what we're here for. We're looking to print at $1.50. But what I did like about this was the umpteen amount of holds at this $1.25. And I gave you guys that level a little bit earlier. I told you it was a skosh above that halt level at $1.20. So here we go, chop and churn in the low 40s. Let's pack our patience with this one. We could get in high day touch. NUZE. Let's do some research over here, find out what the situation is on this bad boy. We're going to bring down trade ideas. Shout out to Nos Boss and his crew. All right, we got a 3.8 million share float according to trade ideas and a negligible short float, 2 3/4. That ain't what I'm looking for. So we'll look to see what this one wants to give us, Joe. But right now, zigging and zagging with that $1.40.
Yeah, beautiful stuff there from Sharif, as always. You know what I need? I need a stream like a money storm, right? Because you guys are over there. Tina Man's always printing. It's a storm over there, and you're printing up an absolute storm, too. So we'll get that one figured out, guys. Hey, so look, I just added a little bit into TQs. We put in that bottom like I was anticipating, and then we continued to the top side here. So I added a little bit here. If it comes back to my break even, we took some off, then I'm going to get out of this trade because it looks like the market is pulling in a little bit here. So, I mean, anything can happen today. NFLX is after the bell, so we're looking forward to that. I think that's going to be an absolute market mover on the day, guys. So when that reports, expect if they raise guidance, if they increase use, because I remember, what was it? Not too long ago, they stopped releasing how many users they had, or Netflix, their subscribers, right? They're not doing that anymore. They don't want you to know, but all you need to know is that
they're not in their growth phase anymore, Joe. They're a mature company now.
Yeah, they're mature. They're mature now. They're mature now.
Bad.
Yeah, so whatever they got going on, they're too mature for us. We don't get to know how many new subscribers they get now. So hey, that's okay. It doesn't matter as long as everybody's still streaming. I don't know what's hot on Netflix these days. I haven't watched it in a while. So, but maybe we'll tune in and we'll see what's going on. I think Mike Tyson and Jake Paul are going to be on there, so that's going to be a good fight to watch. So, and they're starting the live streaming in the sports too. So I think they got a Christmas Day game or something along those lines. So they're moving towards live streaming sports like a lot of the other platforms like Amazon Prime. And I don't know if Disney Plus has any of those. So
the Chilean Nightmare chiming in, and he brings up a really good point. He's like, did you see the mobile games that are on the app?
Yeah.
So they acquired a Finnish company a couple of years ago to get those beleaguered games onto the app, and they had to spend like a bunch of money to do that.
You know what's funny? I was playing like a couple months ago. I was playing there's like a trivia quiz one, and I was just like,
Is it good?
Yeah, no, it wasn't like I didn't do too good, so I'm not too proud of that. So maybe we did all right on it. So it was having fun, and then I do the relax your mind and stuff thing there
Nice.
once in a while, whatever
I like
that is. Yeah, it's nice zen, put you to sleep. Nice story time. So
I do that too, man. I just use Spotify as like that white noise music at night.
Yeah. So that's good stuff there, guys. Man, we're still in the TQs. I mean, the semis are what's hot today, right? Because we had the big report from TSM. And so those are something that you would really, really want to look at. I think AMD has kind of been lagging its peers and continues to lag its peers. You know what? I don't know what's going on with this stock too much, right? So we punched in, punched out there. I don't see any buy program stepping in immediately, considering that we've been on the downside ever since they had that conference. And I talk about the conference a lot. And what I'm doing is I have a call position in this, and so to reduce my loss, what I've been doing is I've just been selling calls. All right, guys. So that those are what's going on with the overall market and the tech sector, so it's really good stuff. So Chris Ivy, he's just been throwing absolutely amazing questions in the chat, so I'm going to go through more of yours right now. So he says, okay, close when you're ready to close so close when you're close to max on premiums, roll up. Can you roll infinitely? Awesome answer, man. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Like, you can just keep rolling those contracts until you eventually get assigned. That is the intention, right? So you can just keep selling cash secured puts until you eventually get assigned. So if it decides to just go on an absolute tear without you, and you have some 45 puts, we'll say, and it's trading around like 49 or 50, close that and then just roll up and do the same thing again, and then eventually the price will come to you, and then you're going to own the asset at a price that you want. So Chris, I really like that you're paying attention. It's really good stuff. And guys, just keep throwing those questions. Diz owns ESPN. So yeah, so exactly. Disney owns ESPN, so do the math on that one. There you go. So those guys are doing a lot of sports rights and stuff like that. I haven't been watching too many sports overly. It's just been stick to the UFC and the combat sports lately.
Love
brother.
it, man.
What you got going on?
What'd you think about that Bivol fight, man?
Oh, bro, he got robbed.
You got robbed?
Yeah, I think he got robbed.
I didn't see it yet, but like the dude apparently was, man, did you see Bivol's ex-wife?
No.
Wow, bro. Talk about petty.
Yeah, what'd she
Talk
say?
about petty. Yeah, I'll let you Google it.
Yeah.
I'll let
she
you
do
Google
something?
it.
Wow,
and
just wishing like
just
a beater bev.
Bro, she was just like basking in his failure. It's like, come on, sweetie, do you not know what karma
because he
is?
made
Like,
probably like 7 figures on that fight.
she said
so.
he like messed with her kid, but he denies that. Anyway, we're
I
digressing.
don't think. Yeah, well, anyways,
sick. I like
boxing sick. We like that stuff. But he got robbed. He got absolutely
I gotta
robbed.
watch that.
Yeah, you got to watch that amazing, really good fight. So we got robbed there, guys. So yeah, other than that, we're gonna see if AMD can continue to the top side. We're still in QQQs. As you can see, we're starting to form some higher lows here. Confirming the secondary trend that can become something that's primary, guys. So we're going to look into this. If we decide to break VWAP and continue to the top side, I can see this thing start to curl. Yeah, everybody likes rounded bottoms, and I think that's what we're starting to form here. You can see we even, if we can pull up my chart here, yeah, we got a double bottom potentially here, right? So almost to the penny, and then we continue to the top side. So maybe we'll take another look at here on AMD, because I would really like this asset to continue higher. And I mean, I got some time on the contracts, but you know what? It's theta, Sharif, and time is working against us when we buy directional calls. That's why I'm a credit spread trader, brother. That's why I'm a credit spread trader.
I love it, man. I love the energy today too, guys. All right, NUZE is not going my way, and there was a seller of note at 40, not exactly at 40, Fabian. You could kind of see we weaseled up above 40 a few times. 42s, I think we printed. We're coming right back down to a quarter, so it's going to either hold here or that's the end of the show for this one. So keeping my eye on that. SMCI is going, baby. Finally,
let's go. We
take out 48s. I'm looking, I was looking for the $0.25. The reason I was looking for the $0.25 is because that's where the 20 exponential was. We just wicked the 20 exponential because that's now at 15s. We did weasel into 15s. Let's watch a little bit here. Let's see if it does, if it uses 48 as support. Let me just, give me a minute to let this one cook a little bit. We waited long enough for a 48 break. So this one's holding up at a $0.25 again. Let's see what comes from this one. I got short on the dead one Apple, and I got short over here, wet my beak. Why am I still in this position? I should have had a stop to take me out.
It says I'm short TQs, but I am not.
Yeah, okay, Fabian, I don't think his position is right.
That's all right, Fabian. I'll get out of that, and then I'll start a new one just because I punched before it was reading. So.
All right, so I'm going to add into this one over here because I do like the resistance level into around 60, given what we did last time. So let's see if we can get filled. It's going down without us here. I'm trying to get more into Apple at the 50 exponential moving average, 232.50 or thereabouts. There we go. Now we have to place a stop to account for this latest ad over here. Now I just have to find where my Apple stop is. All right, so there we go. So 232, and we're gonna, we'll go over like that, 232, and then we'll go like this. There we go. All right, where are we short now? We're on 35s, okay? So let's wait down here for some fills on the dead one Apple. Now, of course, I don't think it's dead. All right, SMCI coming back to 48 now. So let's see, does it hold up at 48? Or does it hold up anywhere near 48, 47, mid-90s, 48, low single digits, whatever. Let's see what it gives us. If it gives it that would be great. Apple, boom, fill again, boy. 20 pennies just like that off the top.
I need a storm machine because it's getting crazy over here.
Yeah, I'm happy with this trade, Joe. There we go. Let's see if the dead one Apple wants to break the volume weighted average price and weasel it's down into 232. It kind of put in not a rounded top. Sorry, that's incorrect. A bit of a three candle rejection right at this level over here. It didn't quite make it up into the 50 exponential last time. For whatever reason, I think that Apple's jiving with the 200 exponential on the 5. You're not going to see me use that often, but that's what that navy blue line on your chart or on your screen shows there on my chart, and that's why I added there. I gave it to the high of this candle over here, so if it breached that 60 penny area, I was gonzino. Now let's look for a 232, maybe touch and smash, or we'll see. We'll see what we get there. Or we'll get stopped out. Simple as that. Printing 18s right now. I'll take it out at 232s. What's this annoying one saying? Yeah, NUZD is likely not going to go my way. I'm probably going to get flat bottom broken here because we've been defending $1.25 quite well. But look at this symphony of lower highs accompanying that 125 defend. If we don't start putting in higher lows, like if we keep hitting 125 and we don't have a higher low, like say 130, 133 on the successive trough, I'm going to take the loss on it, even if I didn't print. Wow, SMCI fully rejecting 48, coming back down into my entry. Decisions to be made here. I'm 7 pennies in the money after being well in the money on this one. I think this is rejecting, Joe, the 20 exponential. It's putting in a newer low now, prior to the new candle, and that's my invitation. Get the hell out of there, and it's already going down some more. So that's the look. What are you looking at?
Hey, we're just here keeping our eyes on AMD, ready to pounce, hunting it like a tiger, just waiting for the opportunity to come to us, guys. So we're looking at AMD. I'll pull up my TQs chart. So we're just patiently waiting, like 50 cent in to get this one going here. So we'll wait. We're still in this here, so we'll see if we can take another leg higher here. Guys, we got some great questions in the chat, and this is what I absolutely love. Keep sending the options questions, because that means Sharif and I know that you guys are paying attention, are actually intrigued into what we're teaching. So from Zion Lala.
Oh, Zion,
Zion, yeah, so you must be a regular. So Zion, can you explain on rolling over and how in wheel strategy you don't lose money, the word out there? Well, that's not the case. But the thing is that it generates multiple forms of income, Zion, that the losses can be extremely mitigated. To say you can't lose on it is not necessarily true, but there's ways that you can mitigate the risks by utilizing the options. And by what I mean by rolling over is essentially, so say in the cash secured put example, we're selling puts at 45 on XLF. Here, let me pull it up here for you here too, so you get a better understanding. All right, we'll pull it up here. So, Zion, essentially what we're doing here is that we're just selling puts on XLF at around, say, 45. XLF, in this case, is continuing to trade higher. So instead of us owning the leg of stock, we are just collecting premiums. So say I sell these about 30 days out, and XLF continues to go higher. What I can do is I can close my short put, collect the premium that I've already received, and then I can just buy another put, say at like 46 or even 45 again, and start collecting premiums. That's just the term rolling the contract. So you're essentially just doing the same method, you're just rolling it either higher or keeping it stagnant, all right? That's just a simple term is when we say rolling a contract, is that you have the same method, the same methodology, and the same game plan. You're just rolling it to a higher or keeping it the same at the same strike price. So hopefully that answered your question, Zion, because that's it. It's a simple term, guys, and that's what it is. So as of right now, we're looking at TQs. I think we're consolidating a little bit. I do think we're going to take that second leg higher, which can be at any moment now, especially if some volume starts to step in. We do know that it is the lunchtime hours, so it's a little bit more of a grind. We have Netflix starting to crawl back a little bit too. Netflix just down about 1% or so on the day. So it's about $6 or $7, which is really good. And Sharif and I were talking. Did we say we would like this thing to split sometimes?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we would like this thing to split.
Absolutely.
So some people can get their hands involved in that. So that's a good one there. Guys, I'm still looking at the overall markets, seeing what the SPY is. The SPY is up about 0.3%, and the overall and the Qs are about 0.6%, guys. So we're nothing crazy. I mean, we had the gap up after in the semis from the TSM report, which is really good for the semis. There's a lot of structure. And then we had NVDA going for the all-time high push today as well, too, which is just it's just off the highs. And we had TSM making new highs. What do you got going on?
Taiwan semi is like my biggest. How do you say like fear of missing out, but in the past? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
like,
fun. Yeah.
You know, every time. Say that again? Faux mode.
Po mode.
Po mode?
Past of missing out, maybe?
Okay, I have no idea.
No,
no, but like, I mean.
Fear?
Yeah.
It's gone. It's in that past.
Faux mode.
Yeah, fear of missing out. Yeah.
Chile Nightmare says faux mode. We're going to go with that. Nah, man. I mean, it's the worst kept secret, I think, in all the tech space.
Yeah,
without this company, you know, there's probably not a whole lot that goes well around here because everything is technology around here, and they make most of the advanced chips, right? So Taiwan Semi, here we go, baby. Come on, Newsy. Let's go. I'm waiting for that film, my boy. Give me that film.
Big advocate.
There we go. We're going to take it. Oh, wow. There we go. We took the fill finally on Newsy. There we go. Now we're nicely in the money. Let's go for that $50, maybe. That 140 was the elusive target. Then we took out the sellers in the low to mid 40s. Let's see if we can take them out at 50s. There it goes again, baby. Now we're 25 pennies in the money on NUZ. He's going to halt up. It looks like it's going to halt up at $1.51 over here. Let's see if this is a false halt. Size getting taken out on the ask. We have about 10 seconds of this before we halt. Let's see. We're halted. Let's good. Good. Finally, patience pays. I'm happy with how I traded this, but hey, man, it could have went the other way. I did give it a bit of room on my stop. NUZE halted to the upside. Good look right now. The tap showing me 155. I'll keep you guys apprised of the theoretical auction price, the tap, which is basically an auction that takes place while the stock is halted. It's kind of like the imbalance before the market opens, or at 350. You often hear the Katinaman and Neil talking about that. They try to pair buy and sell orders while it's halted. So that's the look. We'll pack our patience to see what we're getting there. Like this one, though. Happy with NUZE. Let's weasel our way back to Apple and see if it's defending 232. Yes, it is. So I took out my position at 232.05 on AAPL. I wasn't happy with how it was defending 232, nor was I happy with how the futures were looking for short. So I got the hell out of there. That's the look there. Now, this one. Is this a bull flag? I'm talking about TVGN. You guys were yelling at me in the chat, be like, yo, you said you're going to get back in at $2. It's at $2. Why don't I see you in the position board and on it? I don't know. Things change, Joe. Things change. I don't like how this one is setting up. I think the money fill is a little south of 2. I'm willing to bet it's probably $1.85. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. If there's big boy size right now at 2, and it's adding to it.
Well,
there you go.
You pretty much top tick that there, too.
See that? I know. Well, yeah, almost.
Oh, we see it.
Almost, Joe. But the fact of the matter is, I think we might hold up here at 2. There was big size there coming in. And what I mean by that, guys, is I was watching the time and sales, not the time and sales, excuse me, the level 2 at $2. And look, here we go again. Let's see if I can explain this in real time. When we weasel into 2, I always keep an eye about if there is size coming in or getting taken out from the posted orders. Now we know a lot of these bad boys are icebergs, but we can also gauge what we see from the posted orders. And quite frankly, there we go. Now let's see. Do we take off from the orders or we add? Look, we're adding to this. Now we take off. So it's a bit of a zig and zag. You got to keep this, you got to keep your eye in real time about whether or not the size that's posted is going to get taken out, because you have to assume that if that big size at 2, at the whole dollar level, at that key resistance or support level gets taken out, there might be a vacuum between that $2 and wherever else a big order is posted. Could be $1.95, could be $1.90. Sometimes you can't really discern that on the level 2 because it doesn't show you the full picture. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I like the $2 hold, but it's just too much of a bamboozler for me. We'll pack our patience with this one and see what comes. Back to NUZE. Tap guys, still $1.55. Keep you apprised when this one opens. I think it should open 11:52:37 because it halted 11:47:37. That's assuming, of course, it's a 5-minute halt. We note these volatility halts come in increments of 5, Joe.
Yeah, it's it. Hey, do you remember Fang?
Of course.
Of course,
you
remember Fang.
Now they're replaced by the Mag 7.
Yeah, the Mag 7, but I don't even know if it's Mag 7 anymore because Elon's not in there. So.
I don't know, bro. I'm keeping Tesla in the Mag 7. I don't know how you feel about that.
Hey, I keep Elon in anything. Like,
yeah.
You have to be in the Mag 7 if you're one of the richest men on the planet, no? So, okay, anyways, guys, yeah, we're still over here in TQQs. It's starting to curl up a little bit. It could potentially make a new, I wouldn't say a new high because it's not there, but if we can break this pivot and continue to the north side, then we like it when the trajectory is northeast here, guys, in the stock market, because that's something that we really like. I had a really good question follow-up from Elon. Can we follow up on CrowdStrike? Most definitely, because I have a pretty swing position in this, and I'm looking for CrowdStrike. So it's nice that it is starting to cover here, sitting around $310. Sorry, guys. Sitting around $310, which is absolutely beautiful. So let's take a look from a daily perspective. And everybody knows that I'm looking to play this gap fill here. So we started building small, nothing crazy, and then we're going to look to size up once this asset enters the gap here, guys. So a little bit of a pullback. This thing's been strong, been on a trend that I definitely like to see. So a nice, good pullback here. Maybe I get some volume signatures so that we can see the genuity of the pullback on this here. And then hopefully we can continue to the top side and fill this gap, because that's about a 20-point gap there, guys, that we really like and that you can potentially take advantage of, guys. So yeah, Elon, good luck there on CrowdStrike. Thanks for letting me know that it's starting to move back to the top side, because that's absolutely something that I would like to see, guys. So
seller at 60.
Seller at 60. Boom! Boom! Let's go. Boom goes the dynamite, and there goes the money storm. It's an absolute tornado, category 5, whatever you guys want to call it. These guys are on fire today.
It's gonna halt up again,
bro. It's gonna halt up. Oh my. So yeah, he's on the right side of the halt, and that's exactly what you want. He's in his zone right now, and there's nothing more we can really say. Neil's, oh my god,
bro.
Yeah, Neil's having fun.
Neil's in it. He's having a good time. You're not in it? I thought you were excited, but
no, Neil's excited for him. That's a good friend. See, he's excited for him. That's a good guy.
Well, Neil trades these. That's why, right? He's up on all the time.
He's having fun. These guys are having fun. Hey, listen, I'm gonna have to join the party on these Smoky Cap Cappers. We and Sharif and I were talking about just setting up scanners and some other things there. So we're gonna take a look into that, because I don't know, they're just having too much.
I'll set up that scanner for you. It's a sick one, and it's so customizable, Joe. Like I have 4 years of experience with this bad boy.
I mean, well, like what you were saying, you were feeling. Thanks for Greg for reminding us. Reality of missing out, Romo. That's the one you're looking for, no?
That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
So thanks, Greg, for that. I don't know, we were a little bit slow to the dance on that one.
Elon made me feel a little bit better. Elon in the chat, he's like Uncle Warren.
Uncle Warren.
Kind of got out of that a little too early as well. So if Uncle Warren's getting out of it, I shouldn't feel that bad about myself.
Didn't Kathy sell NVDA at the bottom? So if anybody,
I think she did, dude.
She did, dude. So she sold a big part of her NVDA at the bottom. So if anybody's feeling Romo, it's probably her. And now I am as well too, because Neil and Sharif are absolutely having a blast trading these things. So we're going to look to get into that, guys. And we're just still here in the TQQ, Sharif. I think the market's slowly starting to grind higher. Netflix is recovering a little bit. That's something that I want to keep my eye on because they do report in the evening. So I'll definitely keep my eye on that one. But as for now, we're just going to be cool, hold our horses, and pack our patience. Brother, what do you got going on? You're in the halt now.
Yeah, we're in the halt. Let's talk about what else is moving, Joe. ASPI, look, you're not going to see this move in the same type of way as NUZE. But look at this. This is a respectable trend. It's not giving you dollars. It's giving you 10, 15 pennies, every 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever the situation, depending on where you get it. But it's very respectful of the 10. And again, you always hear me say this. The deeper retracements seem to come into the 20 or thereabouts, a 20 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. So always, somebody was asking in the chat earlier, so let me just remind you guys what the lines on my chart means. The green is the 10 EMA. The yellow is the 20. The white is the volume weighted average price. The red is the 50, and they're all exponential. None of them are simple. And the dark blue, navy blue, I think you guys can see that, is a 200. Nary do I use that intraday. That's typically for, a 4-hour look, a daily look, a weekly look, but I keep it on nonetheless because sometimes I flip between timelines on these charts. So ASPI, fantastic look on the day, but not that big mover. TVGN, you guys already know about that. We don't need to wax poetic about that. FOLD, look, it's a boring one, kind of, but it's setting up for that trade. We always talk about that VWAP hold high of day break. It is a small cap gapper or small cap gapper like stock that has that big boy movement like you see here, this flagpole on the way upwards, directional, and then it consolidates. It doesn't give back, though, the profits. It just kind of does this sideways move, ideally above the volume weighted average price. Not a hard and fast rule. It can zig and zag a little bit between above and below VWAP, but for the most part, it should be straddling VWAP. The idea here is to build up your position in this name during the illiquid time of the day, which is now at or near VWAP, with the anticipation that it will test or break the high of the day. Case in point, let me show them, Fabian. 1167 right now is where the volume weighted average price is at. So let's just say theoretically, I'm building up my position at 67, every time it dips in, 70, 65, whatever, I'm buying it. The idea is that 2 o'clock, 2:15, whenever the more liquid time of the day comes in, we weasel our way up to knock on the door of 12. And sometimes, I don't know exactly what the percentage is, sometimes we breach 12. That's the point of this type of trade. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, Joe. So we always try to put the odds in our favor.
Yeah, that's it, brothers. That's essentially the name of the game, right? Yep. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And that was you swing big, you miss big sometimes, yes, guys. And that's essentially what happened to your boy this morning. But that's okay. Hey, live and learn.
Let's talk about this one real quick here because we're still caught in the halt on NUZE. This halted 11:53.10. So if it is a 5-minute halt, it will be 11:58.10. That's in 15 seconds from now. The tap currently $1.81. We're halted at $1.72. Well, it's flipping between $1.80 and $1.81. You'll see that right here on my screen. I know it's tough to see. $1.83 now. There it goes, Joe. Oh, and there's $2, and then we're just done the trade. We didn't get $2. We got $1.91, but I wasn't going to sit there and watch it come back. Happy with this trade. Let's see what it does. Does it want to come back in and maybe test that $1.50? We know for certain that $1.50 was an area of resistance that we couldn't break through initially. So I'll be all eyes and ears. Good look right now on NUZE, but topping tail candle coming in right now, my man.
Ooh, yeah, good stuff there from Sharif, man. It's always good. And just to add on to what Sharif's doing, when things are starting to halt, you want to be on the right side of the halt, as obvious as that may sound. You don't want to be shorting something that continuously halts to the top side, guys. And tap is just theoretical auction price. Yes. That thanks to Jose, I had to ask him that actually the other day. I was like, what is that?
Jose.
Yeah, Jose.
Yeah, I was talking to Jose when I was chatting with the OB. He is the one, Canob. And he's like, bro, you don't want to get into SMCI. They got a hit piece on him. Yeah, I'm like, I know about the hit piece. And I know about the Department of Justice investigation. Lots of trouble right now in SMCI world. We'll see if they can get out of it. I think, though.
Already? Wow.
Yeah, we're about to get some Neilage, guys. Get ready for Neil's lesson of the day. Take it over, Neil.
Thank you very much there, Sharif. Lesson of the day is relocate your headquarters to Florida, and you too can go up 400% like NUZE. Oh, no, that's, I kind of try, I like to make a little bit of a joke out of it sometimes, but no, obviously that's not going to be the lesson of the day because that's not going to be a normal thing to happen. However, you know, sometimes it's just as simple as, heck, it happened yesterday, let's just try it again today. So a lot of times we always talk about history repeating itself, and if you see a pattern of action, why not just try to see if you can't do the same thing that would have worked the day before. Now, obviously, I was actually off yesterday, so the only thing I can do is maybe look at the charts. I can't see the levels. I can look at what happened at key price levels, what were key price levels. And without any other kind of a read, sometimes you can just find some obvious things in the chart. Now, first off, you want to find something where there was a distinct move and then you were trading at those same levels. So here's Meta. Yesterday, Meta was down. $10 move from open to the bottom. At the open, 584, and then you see the trend to the downside. So first step is, okay, well, is it at that level or close to those levels that were key before? Yeah, it's trading, gapping back up, looking for a retest of 584. Now, I'm not suggesting just go ahead and right away short of 584. However, once it does reject the 584 and you see it come back in on weakness, well, what happened the day before? Right in here, just after the open, it bounced, tried to retake a 580 area and failed, and then trended lower. So then what happens today? It fails your 584, there's your rejection of 580, and there is your flush, pretty much into, not quite into the low of the day, but close enough that I dare say you shouldn't lose that short trade. If you find a way to lose it, you probably got to have some more aggressive profit takes. But the idea is, you knew where you were looking, 584, so confirm strength if it could have held above. It didn't. It rejects underneath, and the continuation short was right around here at 580. It does pretty much the same thing, only a little bit more weak. Why? Because it did it the day before. Everyone's going to try it. So a lot of times, you don't have to have some overly complex plan of action. If you like the stock, hone in on the key price level, and then work back into what worked before. And now, there's another example of it here with Alphabet. Not exactly the same thing, but it's adjacent. And I think pretty instructive in terms of how you can not have it be so obvious on Meta. Sorry, not as obvious as it was on Meta here on Alphabet. Now, on Alphabet, you did have a key price level just above the just underneath, the 166. That was yesterday's high, pre-market highs as well. You had resistance on Tuesday, right around that same price. So you had some resistance on a stock which had clearly for 2 days in a row been trend down. So what are you looking for? What does it do off of that level? Show strength at the open? Answer no. Now this is not as simple as, oh, but it flushed off that level so you shorted underneath. In this particular case, okay, well, now you know you like the short, but where do you enter a position? So there's it showing you the rejection off your key level. Where would you enter it? Well, the other place that you can always look, I always talk about closing prices being more important than opening ones. Let's zoom back in here. So there's your consolidation underneath the closing price. So it fails your 166. You don't have any obvious entry points like you did on Meta, but then it tests, trying to go back into green territory. There is your one bounce. It fails to go green, consolidates under, and then another drop into the downside. So again, you're just following the pattern of it rejected a previous level the day before. If it rejects it today, I'm looking for a short entry and then try to see if you can't recreate that move. In this particular case, it goes underneath the low, although I would be targeting the previous day low. It goes underneath, you get even more than you bargained for. So a couple of opportunities there, and I'll leave you with one last one because this reversal, this one I love because of the reversal, and it's Amazon. I'm going to go to a 15-minute just so you can see a little bit better here on Amazon. Because you go all the way back. Support, 188.5. Resistance, 188.5. Resistance, resistance. At the open, rejection of that short. Pretty much the same plans as before. It goes underneath resistance. Doesn't quite make it to the bottom. So it does set up the short. Maybe not as well as it did on Meta and Alphabet, but it set it up. However, the thing that's different here is what happens when it breaks back out above your entry area on that short. Because remember, you're not getting it here. You're anticipating, okay, when it goes into that level, we know is where it like to sell off. Does it? Yes. Look for a continuation short. Well, when it breaks that one out, look how strong it is on Amazon. That's the key. On volume, on super strength. If I have to look for one of these to be a long this afternoon, it should be obvious that it would be Amazon, because you are now through that 188.5. You're coming right back into that zone. You never made it to the bottom or anywhere near to it. You have higher lows off of that resistance level, which makes it a little bit more bullish than the other two. So now you've identified, hey, you've got a key price level on a couple stocks just by looking at what it did yesterday. You got some short entries off the open that you can be patient for, enjoying the trend for a nice little scalp down into the lows of the day. And then you're able to identify which one couldn't make it to the prior day bottom, which is all you're looking at. Held green, super strong off of that. Now I'd be looking for long entries on Amazon. Now, where would I like a dip buy on Amazon? I don't know. Close price, opening range resistance, 187.80. Yeah, that's about right. So again, just go right back into previous levels. If it does pull back, I'd be looking for bounce here. If it can bounce here, bullish. If it can't, don't have to take the trade. So a lot of times we're out there looking for a daily chart, 15. I do the same thing. What's the key price level, support and resistance? Every now and then, check out what happened yesterday. If there was a distinct move that gave you an obvious level and you're trading near it, look to see if it confirms the move from yesterday. Find that entry point with that trend, and then just use yesterday's key levels as your guide. It also gives you the opportunity to find extra strength on a reversal like Amazon did relative to Google and Meta in those examples. So there's your lesson of the day. Not that hard to just look at yesterday's trade action to find some opportunities.
Very much, Neil, informative, eloquent, and just all around awesome as always. You want that Neilage? Join us every day around noon. All right, Joe, there was stuff happening here while Neil was doing the lesson of the day. Let's talk about TVGN super quick, one of the small cap gappers, Fabian, that we've been yapping about. Bit of a, let's just say a bit of a retracement now, coming back into that 10. So this one really got going. It held 2. I didn't trade this one the right way because I should have added that 2 and I didn't. It held 2 and it got to 247, coming back down, just touched the 10 exponential. And the 10 exponential here is not just a random area, it also is kind of shadowing this area top. So not the wicks, obviously, but the closing prints around 215, 216 on TVGN. Great breakout, great continuation. The range per candle, though, still a problem. Still very rangy on an inch or per 5-minute candle. Let's just say range per 5-minute candle. That's the standard we'll use. So we'll see if this one wants to tighten up. Currently not tightening up though, but great look. NUZE halted down. Now it's halted back up. Halted, I believe, at $1.70. Now it's halted back up at $1.94. The bamboozlement is fast and furious, guys. That's the way these guys work. You got to be ready for them. So I'm going to be looking right now at TVGN as the other small cap gapper, but this one, NUZE, if it wants to break and take 2, we'll get back in and we'll use $2 as a level of support like we did on TVGN, if it sets up that way. So this one, TVGN, look at this, curling, beautiful bottom, like not bottoming tail. It's not big enough wick, but it's curling off that, quick touch at 2, whatever, 11 or 12. Now it's 10 pennies above that. Looking to go back up 113%. How many triple-digit winners do we have today? 1, 2, 3, 3, and then we have NIXX at 90 some odd. So we'll call it an honorary triple-digit winner. But good look right now, Joe. TVGN. Obviously, you had interesting take too on the future with respect to those double bottoms.
Yeah. It was
and
really
that's
good.
not just on the future too.
No, it's all around in the market. You pointed out Meta as well too on the double bottom. So so it looks like some of these heavy techs have put a bottom in, which is really good. Which is really good for the overall market. We got the Qs up about 0.75% there, and then we're still sitting around just under about 0.4% on the SPY, guys. But we have some really great questions in the chat. You know I'm a big questions guy.
Hey.
Love it when people are asking questions. So Pedro Khan, Joe, I see you were short on the TQQs. Do you like TQQs better than SQQQ? If so, can you please explain your thinking? Don't know much about the TQs. All right, yeah, great question. So I was actually long. There was just a little mishap on the leaderboard, on the positions board there, which is fine, but I was long. And why did I choose to trade TQQs opposed to just flat out the Qs? Well, because it's a 3x levered derivative, right? So it's a lot cheaper, but also 1 percentage point move in the Qs is equal to 3 on the TQQs. So it allows you to leverage your capital significantly more. SQQs is just an inverse to ETF. So when the Qs are going higher, SQQ will go down, and the same thing. Qs go up 1%, SQQ goes down 3%. So that's why people use leverage derivatives. So there's like TSLL for Tesla, there's NVDL for NVIDIA, and there's other, I think you showed me when the CoinSquare one the other day, CONL. So there's a bunch of leverage products that allows you to leverage your capital, but own these assets at a discounted price, but give you that a bit of that boosted returns. Like, so you can find them at a 1 to 2 leveraged, 1 to 3 leveraged, and I don't think I've seen anything much higher than 1 to 3, all right? So hopefully, Pedro, that answered your question. Great question, and I am no longer in the Qs. Guys, if we can pull up my chart, you can see that I am all out here. I didn't quite catch the top like I wanted to, but we were in here from around 74.01 or 74.10, sorry, added up here, and then we just took profits as we continued to move to the top side. Sharif and I were talking not too long ago about AMD, and I just want to point out, guys, the sentiment with this stock is not strong, and I continue to try and trade a stock where the overall sentiment is a slightly weaker. Can it rebound? Absolutely, and I expect it to do so. But as of right now, stop trying to fight, and this is me talking to myself, stop trying to make something happen that may necessarily not. So don't fight something that is a little weaker, like kind of like how sentiment is looming around Tesla with the We Robot conference and everything. The market was like, okay, this is all great stuff, but everything is extremely vague. And in AMD's case, they had the MI350 chip, and the street overall was like, I don't know what's going on with this. It seems a little bit like you are a couple steps behind the leader in this one. So guys, that's one thing. That's my look on AMD. And then I have another question from Chris. Chris, I'm going to keep answering your questions because they're fantastic, and I know you're paying attention. If you wanted TVGN at $2, why wouldn't you sell a CSP at $2? Take the premium as well as the position. I'm thinking I may never buy a stock outright again. Just use the put. No, okay, well, that's not really how it works. Unfortunately, you can't do both. Well, you can, but there's no point because then essentially you're just synthetically long twice and you don't want to. And Chris, keep in mind, not all stocks are optionable, right? So something that is extremely small cap like that, it's going to be really hard to find. I don't even know if it's on the options chain. I'll take a look for you maybe, but and $2, you'd be working in fractions there, and the options market doesn't like that. So the key is to find stocks that are optionable, and in my opinion, I don't think TVGN will be optionable, especially at $2 price, right? Because for $2, it's like 0.002 on the options chain, so it's not much there, or 0.02 on the options chain. So hopefully that answered your questions, guys. Keep sending them in there. I know they're in there. I can't see, so just make sure. Okay, yeah, so perfect. That answered your question, Pedro. I'd love to see that. So, guys, I'm out of AMD here. It's not doing what I want it to do. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put this thing to the side. I'm no longer going to trade AMD because the overall sentiment of that stock is not where I want it to lie. So, there's no point in me trying to fight it. We had a good trade here on the TQs, so we're going to look to continue in what's strong. And what can be potentially strong is Netflix. And I'm going to say this a couple times today. It may sound like a broken record, but they report today. And I want to stick to those stocks. TSM reported today, so we want to stick to those stocks. Maybe we get those later afternoon buy programs coming in, and then we can continue to the top side. But guys, be wary that Netflix will probably move the market. What do you think, Sharif? You think Netflix on that report is going to move?
It's going to be interesting, dude.
I think so.
Let's find out. Why even guess? You're an options guy. Let's get
let's get an
market chameleon.
Yeah, let's get some expected moves on that one.
Exactly. Read my mind.
On there, guys. We're gonna pull up some expected moves and see what the options market is pricing in. And when we say expected move, that's just a percentage on which the asset can fluctuate to the top side and to the downside. And that's what straddle guys really look into.
Bang. Yeah. And here we go, guys. If I can show this, Fabian, Netflix reporting today, obviously the call, in case you're, well, that's always important. 445, so we'll probably get the drop at 445, 410, 415. It's always increments of 5 with earnings. And then the call starts at 145. Previous move dropped 1.5%. This time, though, the expected move plus or minus 7.5%. This thing's been a rocket ship, Joe.
Absolutely.
It touched 730 the other day. I know it's below 7 now, 695. That's okay.
Absolutely.
Options volume as well, Joe. Big boy, definitely not up there with Taiwan Semi with 606,000 different trading, I guess, contracts. That is 84. 4 right now for NFLX. So I'm very excited to see what this one does. Super important company. You know, you talked about it. It used to be part of FANG, or when FANG was a thing, and now it's kind of a different situation. But I think it's still a really good look. Very excited to see what this one does. Want to update you guys on a couple of things. NUZE halted above $2, 203. Look, guys, if this is going to become a halt fest with NUZE, I want no smoke, because I don't like trading the multiple halters. It's hard to manage risk, and there's trouble with liquidity because it doesn't stay open for that long, so it becomes a whole thing. If it wants to halt every once in a while, fantastic, but if we're going to get caught in multiple halts, no thank you. Now, the one that I'm watching, and the one that didn't fill me, and I'm a little irritated by it, is this one that dipped in the 17s, ASPI. Gave you guys this one earlier as not a very volatile name, but a predictable little pattern. Oops, let's talk about that. Wrong screen over there. There we go. So ASPI makes a new high a day, bit of a double top, 445, yada, yada, yada. It comes in to that 20 exponential, and now it's holding. It did wick below it, just like it did this last time. So I put my 415. I was taking a shot in the dark. I don't know where it's going to hold up. It held up at 416. So a little frustrating, and now it's back up into the 430 area. Would have liked to be able to play this one. ASPI, 22.5%. Here are the details on ASPI. Let me give it to you. $286 million market cap, so not a small cap gapper, but it's traded about 3.4 million shares on the day, and the float is about 28 million shares, so not, you know, huge or anything. Let's find out what the short float is, Fabian. We got a decent short float here. Okay, ASPI has got 23.25% of whatever amount of shares that are outstanding. Trade idea says 41.18. My program says 27.9. Whatever. It's got a higher short float off which we can try to base some trades. It didn't fill me, but that doesn't mean that I can't get back in on this one. It's still putting in higher lows, guys. That's a fact of the matter. If you're using these candles here as your area troughs, well, you don't have to be a chartered market technician to see that this area trough is higher than this one. So we'll look to play the pattern, or sorry, the trend, if it continues to provide us with just that. Fold is still doing that same thing. So I'm going to start putting out some orders here at VWAP on FOLD. Great look. NUZ still halted. Nothing to write about. Oh, there it is. Opened again. And now it's zigging and zagging. 217 HOD. Let's load it up on the trading screen and use. Shout out to Nimit. He's been trading this bad boy. Now it looks like it's going to down halt at $2 if it does halt. We'll see if this ends up being a false halt. All sorts of greenery coming in here, as you cannot add to the sell on this one, as now it's going to halt, and there it is, halted at $2 again. I told you guys, look, if it's going to do this over and over and over, I don't want any participation with this one. Now let's go to some small cap gappers, because I'm seeing some. Let's go to the Mag 7, because I'm seeing some weakness now come in on the Fuge and on some of these large caps. Let's talk about this. This is what Joe was saying about the double bottom on Meta. Look at this double bottom, bro. I mean, you don't usually get this clean of a double bottom on a $500-600 name. Today you did. And then if you didn't get this double bottom over here, you could have got the neckline break through that 578 3/4, 579. What do I mean by that? Well, you remember that lesson we did on double bottoms? we always talked about where to get in, how to get out, where to place your stops, where to place the beak wetters, yada, yada, yada. One of the areas we told you of where to get in is to confirm that this is in fact a double bottom. Well, how do you confirm that? You wait for the neckline break. What's the neckline? The middle part of the W. So this is obvious W, that's why we call it a double bottom. And this over here is, you can call it the neckline of the double bottom. So that would have taken you up into 578 3/4, or if you want to be a bit more conservative, 579. And then you would have printed well, because this weaseled up to 182 1/4, 182 and change. So good look right now. Now, what I was going to talk about was we got about, I don't want to say a rejection on the future, but we couldn't take 20,500 that decisively, and we put in a 4-candle red pattern on the 5-minute look. Bless you, Neil. We are coming into areas of support, though, namely the 10 exponential on the 5 on the NQ, as well as this area consolidation top at 20,475. Let's see if we hold up here. I didn't want to jump into a short quickly on Meta only to be $2 out of the money, nor did I want to do it on Amazon, because I saw the same deal on Amazon. Like these were interesting areas here into the high 188s. That's the IB high, the implied balance high. Shout out to Dan the Dang Man Emmons. 188.75. We worked up a little bit higher than that. And we know the double tops are not, they don't have to be the same level. 188.95. So I saw this 3 red candle pattern and I start salivating like I'm in a short Amazon, man. And well, look at this green candle. Made me rethink that right away. So I don't feel I've got quite a great read on the future right now, especially that we're at that 500-point area, a little bit below, a little bit above. I'd like this, to decide what it wants to be. And then, we'll weasel into a trade here. But if I had to choose, I feel like there is a bit of a more bullish tint or sentiment to the afternoon. Like, look at this. Let's just, let's look at a couple of Mag 7 names. Apple, higher low, higher low, higher low. It's not great, but it's putting in higher lows. Look at Tesla. It's not the best either, but it's curling every successive trough higher than its predecessor, looking to possibly take out that 220.50, where we've been rejecting literally since we gave it up at 9:30.
I like that. You know what I like there, Sharif, is that price seems to be compressing there on the Tesla chart, and I told myself I was not going to look at Tesla today, but I'm absolutely going to now after you showed me that. So what Sharif just showed you guys there is we're starting to see a little bit of price compression. Sorry, I'll pull it up for you guys here. And then we'll go back to Sharif, but I just want to point out that that price compression there, and that's something that I'm looking at right now that can potentially lead if the volume steps in, and we can break out there, brother.
Absolutely, man, and I like that look as well. Tesla's a fantastic look. Let's wax poetic about the afternoon rundown. So we got the big kahunas in the house. Neil and Sean. Sean's at the gym right now. Neil's trading. But they're going to be on. They're going to do it big during the afternoon rundown. And it is nothing. That segment is nothing without you guys. Get into the chat right now if you haven't already and vote for your favorite ticker or the ones that you want Neil and Sean to analyze. If they traded it, they'll tell you how and why. If they didn't, they'll tell you how they would have or why they didn't. So get into that chat and let's see what people are talking about over here, because we already have people voting. And I want to kind of call them out. Vicky Novak wants to talk about ASML. Surprise there. Tanked, I don't know how many percentage points over the last couple of days. Get into the chat, Vic, and vote for it. Profit Monster wants to talk about Donald John Trump. DJT. Kidding.
Where's Savannah Woody? Where's
right?
Savannah?
Get into the chat. Vote for DJT. Manohar wants to talk about NUZ. I'll talk about that all day. Get into the chat, Manohar, and vote for NUZ. Bbot 5000 already put in his vote. He's voted for Baidu. And we saw what Chris Bretchery had to say yesterday about Baidu. If you didn't, you might want to go back and listen to that on the afternoon or the market recap show. He had some interesting stuff to say about Baidu. Nimit. NTBL, he wants me to look at that. Vote for it, Nimit, or vote for NUZE, because I know you were trading up a storm there as well. Shout out to everybody who voted. Let's see what else people voted for over here. Let's just scroll up and find out. TNXP, says Rob EV. It's at the high of day. Get into the chat, Rob. Have a look at TNX, or vote for TNXP, and I'll have a look at it for you, because you said it's at the high of day, and you don't have to ask me twice, my man. All right, so we're going to take off SMCI TNXP. Let's have a look at this bad boy. And it's going to take a minute to load. I don't know why. Here we go. Oh, good look. So 17 penny stock. That's why I don't have eyes on this one. All right, this is interesting. This is interesting, Rob, because if it breaks and takes 19, I'm in. Because then we can use 19 as a level of support because it's certainly resistance. How many rejections do we need at 19 pennies to see that? Once, twice, and yes, OB thrice, right at the open there. At the 930 top, that is the IB high technically. We're working our way there. Look, you can take a short off it, but I'm not into shorting these small cap gappers north of the volume weighted average price. I'd rather short them below. So I'd rather get a break and take of 19 pennies than use it as support, Joe. So that's what I'm looking at there.
Yeah, no, that's great stuff there. And Sharif, you really intrigued me when you pulled up Tesla today, and I wasn't really going to look at this stock because we had the semis absolutely buzzing earlier in the session with the TSM report and the raised outlook, the full year outlook as well too. So those are things that you want to keep an eye on. And we know that with the sentiment in Tesla right now, we've been selling a little bit now. I'm not too sure, we can look at it later how far we are off the highs, but I mean, again, we're looking to see if any volume can step in here. And one thing that I really like about this trade is that we have a definitive out, guys. So when you're starting to, prices starting to compress like this, now you know that when it breaks to either side, that there's probably going to be a definitive move. Maybe will there be a fake out? Never underestimate that. There's always the potential of that. But when you start getting things like, when you start seeing price compress like this, then that's something that's intriguing me, especially as we continue to make higher lows, right? So that's something that you want to look. We have a definitive base here around 219.5s. And if it breaks VWAP and goes to the downside, that means that price can potentially break to that side as well too, guys. So if you see volume step in at any point, then just be wary of that. But before we talk anything else, guys, I think we should dive a little bit more into the lesson of the day.
Can we just shout out the Super Chat there for you?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
KB coming in hot with $5, baby. And look at this. Need an animation button of Joe slowly saying, money.
Yeah, that's Katina's, man.
But you have your own twist on it.
Yeah. That's his, guys. Can't steal that one, but I would like that one. I need a twister now. Maybe we'll talk to Fabian. I'll get a twister for the money storm, and then I can get the money from Katina, man.
Oh, so we got Andre on the ones and twos.
Oh, it's Andre. Oh, Andre. Okay, maybe we can get him to whip us up something back there. But no, good stuff there, guys. Let's get back to business and start talking about. Pardon me?
NVIDIA VWAP.
So there you go. So as you guys can see that not now, but my Tesla trade is not looking too good because the market is looking to go to this southeast, guys. So let's get back into the lesson here. We're going to talk more options wheel. We already know that what the three components of the options wheel are. If you're going to do the poor man's options wheel, you can use a leap. So that's a long-term anticipation equity position using calls on that one. And then you can also buy long legs of stock, guys. So then we know our steps. We're going to do our due diligence on the assets. Then we're going to start selling covered cash secured puts. And then once we own them, we are now outright owners of that stock. And then now we're going to start selling calls against those positions so that we can just amplify the returns on the position, guys. So those are the three components, and those are the steps that we're looking at so far, all right? So moving forward, once you get a sign from selling out the money cover calls, you now profit from the difference between your average stock price lag and the short call strike price. So this is why a lot of traders like this strategy, is because there's constant cash flow coming in. So when we sell the cash secured puts, if we don't get a sign, we're collecting premiums on that. Then the also benefit from that is if you do get assigned on the cash secured puts, you now own the stock that you want at a price that you want. That is really, really key instead of just buying on market, all right? So this is why you can generate continuous profits. So once we're assigned, then we get to profit from the average price to the out the money strike price, right? So whatever that may be. All right, so you are now liquid after you get assigned on the covered calls, right? Because you had the shares and then you got called on the short puts. So those offset each other, and then you are now cash liquid again, all right? So you are now liquid and hold cash. You repeat the same process on the underlying asset, or you continue to do your research and select another stock, all right? So let's take a visual at what the options wheel actually looks like, okay? So this is where we're starting. This is where we start off, and we're doing our due diligence. We're rolling through all our equities. We're finding stocks and price ranges that we like and that we would like to potentially own, right? So say now with the XLF example, we see that we want to own some XLF at 45. We start selling out the money cash secured puts on XLF at $45 using the 45 strike price, all right? So now this comes to a question, does the cash secured put expire worthless or does it expire in the money? Now, if it expires worthless, which that means you received a premium, theta now dwindled that premium or the value of the contract because it is only extrinsically valuable, right? Go back to our other lessons. Extrinsic value is time value. So when it runs out of time value, you get to keep all of that money, okay? So hopefully this is making sense, guys. Be sure to put your questions in the chat, and we're going to go through this even more, all right? So the cash secured put does not expire worthless, right? So this is everything then what I was going to. You are now assigned those shares. So CSP is in the money, shares are assigned. Now your broker will automatically you'll wake up the next day or that day with 100 shares of XLF in your account, okay? So once you have the XLF, you're a proud owner now. You get a piece of JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, all the best banks in the world. You own them now, so congratulations to you. But guess what? You also get to make more money on the position, all right? And what are we gonna do? We now own these shares at $45 a piece. We're gonna start selling covered calls at $50. And we're gonna sell them 20 to 60 days out because we, in the near term, do not think that XLF, sorry guys, I just had to get out of my Tesla trade. It wasn't working there. We now think that XLF is not going to trade above $50 in the next 20 to 60 days, okay? So what happens when we do that? Does it expire worthless? We're kind of just repeating the process, yes. So then we do it again, and then we collect more money while we're waiting for our stock leg to appreciate, okay? So it expires in the money. Now, our long leg of stock is called away at $50, right? So we have an average price of 45. They now get called away at $50. So if you just had one contract, that's $500 in profit alone just from getting assigned, right? So even if you didn't want to own XLF anymore, you could just drop that strike price, Sharif, down to about like $49, right? So you can get paid to get rid of stock as well, guys. So hopefully this is sticking with you guys. I hope if you have any questions, it may seem a little complicated, but I'm gonna do my best to simplify things and put everything in layman's terms, all right? So those covered calls, the covered call gets assigned in the money, you then sell your shares, and then you are now back to 100% cash, and then you start the process all over again, okay? So you could do the same thing over and over again. Okay, I still like XLF. It's continuing to trade higher because we got assigned on our calls. So maybe we will look to own this asset at $47. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna sell out the money cash secured puts because XLF is trading at 50, but we wanna own them at 47, and then we complete the process, and that's exactly what the options wheel is, guys, all right? So hopefully that is somewhat comprehensive. You guys can take in a little bit of that information and see like, hey, is this for me or is it not? And like we were talking before, there was a guy when Sharif and I went to the Money Show, he liked to do this on a weekly basis. And I think he was doing it on Macy's or something. He was doing it on Macy's, yes. So, which is a little bit more difficult, but there's ways, if you want to speed up the process, just get formative and comfortable with doing it from 20 to 60 days out. Own the stock for a month or so and see where it goes from there. And then you can kind of crunch that timeline and become more profitable, because that's exactly what I did with credit spreads, guys.
I love this chart too, by the way.
Yeah. And it keeps it extremely simple. Well, hopefully, but once you understand it, it's easy, it's directional. You either go here or you're back at there, you start over. So that's why it's called the wheel, guys, and that's why it's a continuous rotating trade that you can continuously do, all right? So we'll go a little bit more in before we get back into the market because Tesla is absolutely tanking and the overall market is
down, bro.
Everything is moving down. So you know what? Maybe we'll take a break. We'll see what the boys are into, and then we'll get into stock selection, fundamentals, and stuff like that. So guys, make sure you put your questions in the chat. That might be a lot to take in right now. So any questions you have on it, please let me know, and I'm going to do my best to answer. But what do you got going on there, brother?
I'm looking at the future right now, Joe, because everything's dropping down. Amazon looking double top-ish here. The OB, he is the one. Kanob was telling me about the reversion on this bad boy. And I'm looking at Meta. Call me crazy, but this area...
He does. Yeah, he's been doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did ask for it. Neil, you're accurate on that. But he takes me up on the offer every time. I love the Chilean nightmare, man. He's doing the absolute most in a sick way. Look, Meta has this kind of inverted S look that I've talked about before. And what do I mean by that? Sorry, not inverted, excuse me, sideways. In the sense that the middle area here, the neckline of the double top, could be the area that we come back and test as an area of support. It doesn't have to be on an exact penny or dollar basis. It's a general area. And what do I mean by that? Like, look, so this area over here at 579, generally that is the neckline in the double top. Well, look where this hammer candle just found support. 579 popped back into 5. Well, it looks like it's going to go into 580 now. I don't need to be first. If it's going to hold up at that area, I can get it on the back end, as my friend Neil likes to say. Basically, let it throw a couple of green candles your way to prove that, yes, this is a support level, and get in. By definition, you're going to miss the best possible entry, but you secure a bit of a safer position. At least that's how I see it. So it's also not just that neckline area. It happens to be the volume-weighted average price, which is obviously important for these large caps. So I'm keeping my eye on Meta for a possible bounce here. Now, the future kind of a similar look to Meta. Not the exact look, but similar. Double bottom, kind of at this 20,302 And then look, we break above 20,005, come right back down, find support at VWAP and that neckline area for the double bottom. So this is interesting. I'd like to see if we hold up here. If we do, we get an excellent entry for a long, but that doesn't mean we hold up, right? One candle isn't the end all and be all. So I'm on the lookout here for a possible pop-up long on the future. Now, the trade that I missed, that I had eyes on, that I wanted to execute on and didn't, was Microsoft VWAP. I saw this for a hot minute and I said, look, man, there is somebody selling up a storm at VWAP on Microsoft because you had a 5-candle hookup with VWAP and Microsoft on the 5-minute chart, and you only had 1 candle breach VWAP, 1, and it didn't close below it. And then look what it did after that. Surprise, surprise, it put in a 5-6 candle red pattern right now. So I missed that trade. I'll do better next time. It's not like I didn't have eyes on it. I just didn't want to execute because I was looking at the small cap gappers. All right, so good look there. I'm keeping my eye on Meta. If Meta's going to hold up here and the future's going to hold up here, I'm punching long. It's a good look right now in a technical sense. Obviously, percentage-wise, we're a mixed bag. Some Mag 7 names are green, some are red. The king of them all today on the day, 2.6% NVDA, but still trading south of that 240. Second best on the day, AMZN, I'm up 2/3. Third best, META, followed by Microsoft, and then Apple, and then Google and Tesla are red on the day. So interesting look here. Meta still holding up. I'm watching this one intently, guys, in a bit of a hammer candle here. Now, what you could do, and look, I got bamboozled on Meta twice on Monday, and I had a really good VWAP retracement trade. Not too dissimilar from this one we're looking at right here. But I got bamboozled out of it twice because my stop was just too close, and it's a $600 name. So I need to account for that. So I'm going to look to execute a little bit better this time on META if it wants to hold up here, Joe. It's trying to knock on the door of 580.
Yeah, that's beautiful stuff, Sharif. We've got a couple of comments and questions in the chat that, I love to answer.
Sure.
So one of them was, what if the stock drops more after you're assigned and the out-the-money calls give no premium at your cost? The at your cost, I'm not too sure about that part. But see, that's the point of the trade, I think, Chris. So when you get assigned, on those after your cash secured puts get assigned, you want to also trade vehicles where you're going to collect something. And the chances are, like using XLF, even if you sell the covered calls 20 to 60 days out, you're still going to collect something, all right? So what that does, Chris, is that say you get assigned on the cash secured puts and the asset continues to move to the south side, that's why you can sell covered calls and then mitigate that downside risk as well too, all right? So that's why you sell that calls out the money. You're not going to collect as much as I said before, as the stock appreciating, but what you're doing is you're now protecting your downside risk, right? So you're capping those losses until the asset starts to moving in your favor, and then once it does, you can start rolling those covered calls a little bit higher. And then Gladys WJ says, Joe, please speak to early assignment on CSPs, for they are a real issue to take into account. I mean, they absolutely are, but the intention, Gladys, is that you want to get assigned on those CSPs. So if you sell 20 to 60 days out, and then by day 10 or 15, you're getting assigned, okay, that's totally fine, and that's something that you want. Yeah, you don't collect the premium, but just realize that the appreciation of the stock leg is going to always outweigh whatever premium you're going to collect, all right? That's just how the game goes. So the intention is to get assigned. Yeah, you may not collect anything on the initial cash secured put that you sell or the premium, but that's okay, because at the end of the day, you want to own the stock, right? So the premiums will always be dwarfed by what the appreciation of the stock can do. So those are two really good questions, guys. Really good stuff. Hi, Joseph. What if I'm able to only buy options, more so naked options? What are the possible strategies that can benefit my trade? I mean, if you can afford to sell naked options, then you have a lot of leeway room in your account, because most brokers won't allow you to sell naked unless you have the cash in your account, right? So they will not allow you to. So that's another reason why I'll do credit spreads, is so I'm not selling naked calls or puts, because at some point I remember I was selling like 10, 12 contracts of Qs and SPY, which amounts to about 1,200 shares, which is not small, right? So you need I don't have the cash for 1,200 shares of SPY or the Qs, right? So you can still use options, and we said that as in a poor man's covered call, is you can buy a leap, which is just an option that expires a year or two out, and you can run the wheel that way. But I mean, if you have that type of cash and you're looking to sell naked, then I don't know, maybe look to just buy some protection, or you can also just delta hedge by buying long stock as well too. So if you really want to sell covered calls, maybe look to hedge that with just outright equities, or you can just hedge that and use a ratio spread if you do have the cash. So that means if you're looking to collect more premiums, you can do a ratio spread, which is just one side of the trade outweighs the other. So if you want to sell 4 calls, then you just buy 2 calls, which is essentially a 1 to 2 in the ratio spread. So you can look to do something like that, guys. So hopefully that answered your question. Good stuff. I got all out of Tesla, but I'm still going to keep my eyes on it, because it looks like the market is starting to slowly recover a little bit here, Sharif. Things were starting to sell a little bit, and then I mentioned fake out earlier, and I think that's might have what Tesla did. So you know what? The more and more I talk about it, my friend, I think the more and more I like it. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to get in exactly at VWAP here. So I love that. So, okay, I got to answer this one, and then we'll send it off to Sharif. Adam Deleuze, if one of the intentions to collect premium, what are the benefits of going down the options route compared to buying an ETF such as QYLD, which is a covered call paid monthly? I've never heard of that. And the intention of, sorry, let me read this again, is collecting premium. Well, no, Adam, the reason why in the options wheel that you do want to collect premium, but the intention of the strategy is for the long leg of stock to appreciate, right? So as I said before, but what the premiums do is just boost the returns. So the goal is to own a stock that you think is good and is going to appreciate over time. I mentioned this before, is that the premiums you collect are always going to be dwarfed by what the appreciation in the stock can be. The whole point of collecting the premiums is just to boost those returns, and that's why all those long-term investors and the boys on Wall Street like trading the options wheel, because you're collecting side cash, the stock's appreciating, then you're collecting more cash as you're selling out the money calls as well too, brother. So hopefully that answered your question.
Love the questions, man. And some person in the chat, I forget who it was, sorry I couldn't give you credit, had a witty little comment, but I thought it was apt. Owning stock and not selling covered calls, according to them, is like having rental properties and not renting them out.
Exactly.
Olivia Chow would not like that,
No,
bro.
she wouldn't
She'll
like
send you a
that.
$9,000 bill.
She'll tax you or something. She'll find a way to tax you or something, or raise the.
In case you guys are wondering who we're talking about, it's the Toronto mayor. There's a vacant home tax in this city because there's obviously a shortage of properties, and so they're doing whatever they can. Some people agree, some people don't.
Dude, did you hear the concrete tax that they're gonna?
What?
Yeah, I don't know if it's true. It might just be.
Concrete tax?
Yeah. So because like with the water flow and the drainage system in the city, right? So if you have too much concrete, concrete doesn't absorb the water, then you might get taxed on that. I don't know. it might have been not a real thing.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. Exactly.
Dude,
that's the whole
is there
point,
something we don't get taxed for in this country?
No.
I'm pretty sure we get taxed for the air we breathe too, man. I mean, Neil, what's going on?
It's getting close there. Yeah, we're gonna start getting taxed.
So
on that
we'll yeah. All right. We're going to do the ad read soon, Fabian. All right. He's ready to go. He's locked and loaded. Love that. All right, guys. I'm involved in this meta trade over here. Let's see how it does. Took it off the volume weighted average price. I wasn't at VWAP. Obviously, would have been a lot better of a trade currently if I had done that. I'm looking for it to curl back up, possibly test 582. I'm giving it room because I have to because of what happened on Monday. I executed wrong with meta on Monday, but this is all predicated on the future as well, holding up at VWAP right now and starting to curl back up. You know, let's be honest with each other. The future is still putting in lower highs off that area crest that we put in. What time was that? 12 o'clock on the dot. Lower high, multiple lower highs. We had the hold up at VWAP. Fantastic, great. But we need to change this lower high trend by popping off a little bit here through that 20,500. We're not getting that, and nor are we getting the move on meta right now. So I'm going to have to pack my patience. Otherwise, I'll get stopped out. So META involved in it right now, 11 pennies out of the money as it dips down a little bit over here, accounting for this dip down with my stop, but the future taking a bit of a hit right now. And so the meta out of the money. West, y'all, question for Sharif or Joe. As a reversal trader, it moved up, I gotta go back. As a reversal trader, I find it hard to join uptrending stocks. Example, SMR or OKLO from yesterday. Those two should have been my plays. Could weasel in? Question mark. Great question. Let's talk about that. Because I think you and I are kind of not seeing eye to eye exactly, but we're talking the same language. What do I mean by that? Well, you're not going to see me punch in at highs. That's just not my jam. It's not what I do well, and it's not how I want to execute. So I typically look for a retracement into a moving, or not moving average, sorry, into an area of support. It could be a moving average that I like. And that has proven itself on the chart and whatever time frame I'm trading. So by definition, I'm waiting for the price to come down a skosh, right? So you're looking for an entire reversal. So I would say, look for those key areas of resistance to get rejected. Like a VWAP, a closing print from the day before, an implied balance high or low, and then base something off that. But my suggestion to you is, unless it's like a key area of support or resistance, don't have a resting order. Get it on the back end, as Neil likes to say. Let it prove to you that it's going to go the way that you want. Let's look at SMR to see what you were talking about yesterday. Well, look, dude, there was no reversion on SMR. What we're looking at right here, Fabian, is SMR. Let's throw in the watermark. There was no mean reversion here at West, y'all. Like this was, you had to get in on a retracement. Now, this is the 5. It didn't touch the 5, many times, but you got close. Or sorry, the 10 exponential, excuse me. The green line is the 10 exponential, but it got awfully close. So, that's the way I get into these ones that are very directional. There's a momentum to them, but you want to get in with a better price. And my suggestion to you is What's up?
No, sorry.
What?
Drop Family's Garden is like Toronto is overpriced anyways.
Oh, bro.
Yeah,
Oh, bro. You don't have to. Yeah, you can say that all you want because it's true.
It's funny, sorry.
Dude, you're not going out right now. Like if you're taking, like, I don't have to tell you because you've been you're locked in a relationship. But when you're going out, like, it's at least $150, $200. Like, there's no, like,
Dude,
you can't weasel out of that.
You see those memes where like it's like the guy and their girlfriend walk out the front door, and then when she walks out, it's like bang $100, bang $200. I'm more expensive
Bro,
now.
there it is.
It's more expensive for me
Yeah,
now.
that's
Yeah,
the way it is. We got the ad reads. All right, Joe, we got to pay some bills, baby. So let's do this right now. Do we have the? Yeah, okay, everything's good to go there. All right, guys. Trade the pool. Imagine trading with someone else's capital instead of your own. That's what it means to be a funded trader at Trade the Pool. And this is how it works. You complete the evaluation program by meeting profit targets. Once you succeed, you trade the pool's capital, which gives you the ability to trade with up to $260,000 of buying power. The best part is you keep up to 80% of your profits while the firm takes all the risk. It's the ultimate way to trade, whether you're a beginner or professional trader. So go on and check out tradethepool.com. I went over to their website earlier and it looks quite promising. So scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen or click the description in the link of this video. Shout out to our sponsors at Trade the Pool. And I got to keep shouting out Mitch, man, because he impressed me. And I even told Brendo the other day, I'm like, we should have this guy. We should have this guy more on more. Excuse me, because I thought he was spitting hot lines.
Yeah.
So shout out to Mitch, man. Good luck there. Code $2 super chat. Thank you very much, Code. I like your name. Been playing the $80 Uber trade, Neil. Paying off. Neil, you're getting love here from a person by the name of Code who sent $2 Canadian. So they're probably from Canada and they like your trade, Neil. So shout out to Neil, who is waddling down the stairs now. Sorry, Neil. I had to do it, bro. I had to do it, Neil. You know I'm cheering for you, Neil, but I still had to do it. Right? He's getting a lot better, by the way. If anybody doesn't know, Neil's been injured, and he's really improving, so we're always rooting for him, no doubt about that. What's your look, Joe?
Hey, yeah, we're in Tesla. As I was talking to Sharif earlier, I said, hey, man, there might be a little bit of a fake out, so I'm going to look. I got out, and then I'm going to look to get back in, and I got in at a better price. Can price continue to move sideways here? Absolutely. From a daily perspective, there's nothing that says, hey, Tesla's going to move higher. But I mean, we have been holding this range, possibly consolidating. And if we can continue to move up a little bit here, then that'll be really nice. Other than that, I'm going to stick in this consolidation. As price compresses, eventually I think it's going to break to either side. So I'm going to look for the top side break on the price compression play because it's exactly where I want to be in. I want to be close into the volume weighted average price, and then if the overall market decides it wants to trade higher as well too, I think that Tesla will eventually participate. All right, guys. So that's really good stuff. And Kyle Burdett, great question from Kyle here. I really like this one. So let's say you are thinking the SPY is going to pull back 20% plus in the next 6 months. What kind of strategy would I employ? Do you buy in the money leap puts? You know what, Kyle? And here, let's pull up some SPY charting here, and I'm just gonna give you my 2 cents, brother, for whatever that may be. But let's pull up SPY here, and then we're gonna pull up the daily as well too. I mean, I don't really want to bet against this, right? I don't. If you do truly think that it's going to decline 20% or so, I wouldn't necessarily look to buy leap puts. What you can do, Kyle, and I talking to Sharif before, he said you're a put master, but what you can do is also sell some covered calls, or sorry, not covered calls, but you can do a bear call spread, right? So that can give you a price where it's like, okay, if you are slightly bearish, you can do a bear call spread like 2 to 3 weeks out if you do think there's going to be a decline in price that says, hey, I don't think SPY is going to go higher than 600. So instead of having time work against you, you can have time working in your favor. Whereas if SPY does to trade a little bit higher, you can still be profitable, opposed to just outright being directional by buying the puts, because now you need the asset to move lower, opposed to just doing a a bear call spread. If price does come a little bit higher, you can still collect premium. And if it goes lower, you're still gonna, if that's what the direction you want, you're still gonna make money on that. So if you're looking to do that over the next 6 months, Kyle, I think I would look more into bear call spreads on that one, opposed to just going flat out with the puts, right? Because if it decides it doesn't want to go south, then you're stuck holding on to these puts. So that's my look on that one. Look for the call credit spread there, Kyle, and I think that might work out really well for you, especially, but just make sure you put those stops in on that, because if it does squeeze, you don't want to get a big hit on those, but your losses are capped. But that's what I would go with. Sharif is a call credit spread on the SPY look, brother, on that one for sure.
It's a good look, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys, in a new position over here, still nursing this meta position, still holding above 580, but I'm asking myself for how long. I'm trying my hand at this TNXP thing. I'm trying to take it off the 10 exponential moving average for a hold up. Let's see. Let me just update it over here. 16.86%. I got in at 0.188 or around 19 pennies. I'm not going to give this that much room. Give it about 1 or 2 pennies there. Not big size on this one, but it's breaking down now. 16.5%. I was looking for this one to hold the trend. Yeah, if we draw a trend line over here, let's find out what the situation is. Yeah, we're kind of breaking that trend line, quite frankly, if you want to draw these speed lines. So we'll see.
Wow.
We'll see if we can get that or what the situation is. All right, back to Meta, still printing 530s on the ask, 580.08 on the bid. Still looking for a 580 holdup, but my concern is the lower highs are the operative thing right now. This is what's happening. We're continuously, putting in lower highs, unable to decisively take that 58.50. Now, we weaseled up into 58.50 multiple times, as you can see over here, and we haven't been able to break it. So there's a seller of note in and around 58.50, unsurprising. We held up there initially on our way up 11.45 or so. It was a resistance level then. Again, when I got in at around quarter to one. What time is it? Wow, it's 5 to 1 already. Jeez Louise.
Time's flying, bro.
When I got in over here, it was also a resistance level, as you can see. I'll zoom in a bit more. We got into 58.50 over here, unable to take it out, at least over here at around 12.43 or 12.45. We were breaching 5.30, maybe going into that 5.60. Now we're not, 5.50, Now we're unable to take 5.50, period. So a bit of a tougher look. We'll have to see how Meta does, up 0.57, still above the 10 exponential. But if it stops me out, it stops me out. What's this situation with this TNXP position? All right, we're zigging and zagging right now. Nothing to write home about. I'm just getting into this one because I need to be in something. Can't sit there and not trade on a trading show. So going to get into TNXP. I thought this was a good entry at the 10 exponential. So we'll give this one a try, but we're not risking all that much. West, y'all. MTEM kind of fitting your system above VWAP now. You say less. Let me just go over here. Yeah, right?
Say less.
MTEM. What's that, Chilean Nightmare?
Ooh, say less.
I love Fabian.
I like that kid.
Timing
I like
bro.
that kid, man.
Yeah, of course. Fabian's solid, bro. Fear him. He's a nightmare, right? So this is, okay. Look, this was a good mover yesterday. And again, unsurprising that it really got its footing under it at 4 o'clock, because that's when the halt parameter shuts off. And that's when all the algos want to manipulate the system and push this bad boy up, up, up. And that's exactly what they did yesterday. This thing was trading essentially all day at around 32 pennies. By the time it was 4:40, so 40 minutes after that halt parameter, we weaseled up to $1.10. What percentage is that up on the day? That's like a 230% move in the aftermarket. Good luck. I don't have anything on this. It's an inside day. We're ensconced by yesterday's price action from the top side and the downside. In fact, what I'd say to you, West, is look at this symphony of lower lows and lower highs, and you can shadow that same kind of thing to the downside as well. So a bit of a downward channel. Now we got to break above that. All right, and this looks awfully respectful of these two lines. Now I'm drawing them ex post facto, obviously, but I think somebody's probably drawing them in. Like if we get a big break, possibly above that high a day, that could change things for me. Let's do that. I like it. We're putting it at 76.92 pennies. I don't know why I put it there, but I put it there. So if it breaks that and it changes the trend, I'll definitely be interested. Let's see what comes. Meta's breaking down. I'm going to get in trouble here. As it breaks down below 579, that's where my stop is. So we're going to lose on this one, Joe, if it breaches. Otherwise, I'm just going to pack my patience, get stopped out, or pop back up. It's got to choose. What are you looking at?
Yeah, brother, we're just still holding into this Tesla. I'm in the same boat as you here with this one. I mean, we're going to probably cut this thing shortly. We're not going to take too big of a loss on it because it does look like the overall market is starting to pull in a little bit here, guys. But thanks for Bijo. 20 Nook. I don't know what that equates to in CAD or USD, but I just wanted to say have a great day, boys. Thank you very much. So thanks for that. Yeah, thanks, brother. I appreciate that 20 Nook donation. And also, Kyle Burdett, thanks for showing the love, brother. In this type of market, that is exactly the type of thought process you need to have. Appreciate it. Interesting. I had not thought of using that strategy. And he says, yeah, thanks for the input. Thanks for having me, for having a good look on that. So thanks, brother. That means a lot. Yeah, I mean, everybody likes talking options. We like talking options too. So I'm glad that I can kind of help you guys out with that type of stuff. So that's a good look there. But I mean, yeah, Sharif, it's looking like we might have to cut this Tesla position soon. It's going to chop around a little bit. And as of right now, it looks like the break isn't going to happen for a little bit. And that's okay because we'll be ready to pounce on when it does, right? And what exactly, so I'm just going to tell you guys briefly what the criteria I'm looking for when this thing decides to break, if it does. So what I want to see, guys, as you can see, the volume is dwindling here, right? From the opening drive, which is rightfully so, dwindles a little bit and then is now substantially lower. How am I going to tell or identify that I have a high conviction trade? Is that when the volume picks up on this asset and decides to pick a direction, whether it be selling volume or buying volume, right? When you want to see a break like this, especially of the 220.50 level, I want to see an increase in volume and I want them to have a distinctive price that they're going to want to push this past, all right? So in order for me to be a breakout trader, you're going to need that volume to step in. And even though I may be a little bit early to the dance on this one, I think that this asset is going to break to either or. And as of right now, it's looking like it may not be to my direction, but that's fine. We're just going to keep those losses really small, and then we're going to wait for the direction and for that volume to step in, those criteria met, and then we can enter the trade, all right? So as of right now, we're still a little bit small size in it right now, and then we'll amp up a little bit if it starts to move in our direction, guys. So we'll go off to Sharif one more time, and then we'll dive a little bit more into the lesson.
Love it, man. I'm waiting to hear a lot about it. All right, added at 579.20. Same stop. It was so close to my stop. I said, if I don't add here, I'm doing myself wrong. And it was also the volume weighted average price. It popped up into 580 and change. I could have taken everything out flat. Decided that was not the trade. I still rather allow this to manifest and get stopped out and go red on the day, because probably that's what will happen. Or as opposed to, I should say, taking it out flat and getting at a dodge. We'll see what happens here. So I moved down. My profit taker is Skosh. Let's see if it wants to bounce back up off the volume weighted average price, but I'm seeing more weakness in the future. That's keeping me a little bit worried. However, we are still north of the volume weighted average price on the NQ December contract. And if Meta wants to shadow it and possibly curl back off here and make new highs, well, then that would just be aces. Again, now we're back to break even. Again, 579.85 showing in on my ask here on the level 2. We're long at 92s. That ain't the trade. The trade is to make money, not to break even. So I'm just going to let this one cook. And if, hey, I get stopped out, I get stopped out.
Let that one Tim cook, eh?
Hey, taking a page out of Adara's book today. Tim Apple. Yeah, Adara's sick today, so she's not at the big desk bringing us hotlines and news items, but she'll be here tomorrow. Shout out to Adara. Hope she feels a little bit better. Yeah, she was really under the weather yesterday. I had to give her one of my Sudafeds. Big Spile Burdett. Big Spile Bodette does have a rate. Is that what you call them, Bears versus Bulls? Did you call him Bodette? Because He seems to like it. I like that. Shout out to Big Smile, man. He's got a great sense of humor. And there it is, Joe.
There it is.
And there it is,
We
Joe.
both did it at the same time.
Yes,
We're
my
both
man.
like, here we are. Someone told me in the chat, hey, hold. And Sharif and I literally went like this at the exact same time. Tesla broke to the top side. So that's great there, brother.
All right, we took out one beak wetter at the third note, Joe. Now we're waiting at 75 pennies, showing 77 on the ask. It's got a cross, though. We know how meta is. It's called spreada for a reason, Joe.
Let's go.
For a reason, Joe. We got to drop that dollar club because we're well in the money, $1.50 in the money on the monster meta. Very happy with this trade. I'm even happier with the fact that I had the cojones, shout out to Katina Man, to add at the volume weighted average price. Now we've broken that downtrend. We are putting in higher highs and higher lows. We're almost $2 in the money, quite close, about 25 pennies away. That's where we're going to sit, Joe. We're going to sit 581 and a quarter because I'm born on the 25th, and I like that number, Joe.
All right, yeah.
That's a look there. So we're going to go 581. Oops. 25. There it is. Oh no!
Oh,
I
no, no.
I flattened out right away. All right. We're done with that trade. Whoa, we got more out on TNXP, my man. Everything's working out today, okay?
The boys are buzzing, man.
I'm having a good time today, man. I'm not going to lie.
Man. I like good seeing you having a good time, man. That's good. Just let me have a good time.
Good times, Joe.
Yeah.
We took out some on TNXP, guys. This is nothing to write home about, obviously, over here, but, you know, it's profitable, so we'll just hang on to that one. Fat fingered on Meta had to flatten out there. What just happened says stock up. I added instead of taking it out. That's why I flattened out there, buddy. But I was happy because Meta's moving up and I'm in the money on it. So that's that. There it is there. So what's the situation right now? Like, guys, let's look at some other names that are moving. This situation, Fabian. Good look right now on some of these Mag 7 names, but let's see what the future's up to. And this is what kept me in the trade, guys. This is the NQ December contract. We kept holding up at VWAP. So I said, Sharif, bro, look, if you're just going to take it out at the exact area where we're supposed to find support, like this is the neckline for the double bottom that we talked about, right? That 20,463. So 20,402 And then it's also essentially shadowing VWAP because this is at 60, 20,460. So it's like, if we're not going to add here, then what's the point of using this support level? Like, why do you even bother charting it? So I did, and I'm happy about this. So let's see what else is going on. Microsoft is working its way back, Joe, into the volume weighted average price. And last time we saw what it did a 5-candle hold up at that level and then gave you money on the way down. So let's see. It's putting in higher lows, though, guys. So let's see if it rejects off VWAP again. Yeah, some interesting plays right now. The Katina Man has returned.
He's coming back
Katina Man, we need a report, bro. The people want to know what the Katina Man traded today. That's going to become a segment. He's got the food segment, and then we're going to have the Katina Man training segment. He's going to sit down.
I don't want to know too much.
The people don't want to know too much.
Trading
is what he said.
Trading and training with Katina.
Literally.
We get him live at the gym, maybe.
But literally, it is.
We get him live at the gym, maybe.
Shout out to the Katina Man, man. I'm damn proud of him, man. He's killing it. It takes a hell of a man to change, and he's big boy changing. So shout out to him, man. What are you looking at?
When you print up storms, man, that's easy stuff for him. Guys, hey, Sharif, I wanted to just mention what I was talking about on Tesla. And I think I said, hey, you want to see that influx in volume? And that's exactly what you got. So if you're a breakout trader, you're going to want to see that volume increase. So I brought it down to the 1 minute, guys. So we're going to look to see for that volume increase. And then you can see the volume decreasing, so diverging as price is pulling back, right? So it's going lower. Sharif likes this one. As the volume goes lower, that is diverging volume, opposed to converging when we are moving forward and the price is going higher. That's exactly what you want to see from a breakout trading perspective, is that increase of volume at the breakout levels, okay, guys? So as I mentioned before, sorry, I had one question. We'll go through one question and then we'll hop into the remainder of the lesson. We don't got too much left. But Joe, so I have a 45 put 1 DTE on SMCI. Am I screwed? Well, let's take a look at SMCI. Have not looked at that thing today. A 45 put, yeah. with only one day. Sorry, brother. You got something good going on there?
I'm reading McSpile stuff, man. He always writes stuff in the chat that we can't read back, bro.
Yeah.
It's too funny.
So sorry about this one. It's not looking to, but hey, Spile gave it. He said, thanks for the options input. It means a lot, he says. So I appreciate that. That means a lot.
He trades options too.
Yeah. So he's like, that's like huge for him.
Man.
He says, and he's like, he didn't know, like he didn't have a perspective that I gave him. And that's what we want to look for is different perspective, guys. So.
The Katina man just brought to my attention something happened with Google, and he's accurate. We got a big boy drop here, Fabian, on Google. We worked our way back into that 165, which was the closing print. We just dropped $1.
Wow.
Google's doing something over here. Yes, it's coming in. Here we go. Google executive overseeing search and advertising leaves role. The Wall Street Journal reports this came in at exactly 1:07, 1 minute ago, guys. Google executive overseeing search and advertising is leaving role. How do they make money again? Oh, that's right. Search and advertising. Oh, boy. Okay, so shout out to the OB. He is the one, Kano. Big boy drop into that 164. We'll have to see how this one does, Joe, but this is interesting already. Want to bring that to you guys. Thank you, Katina, man, for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah, so yes, sorry, Darius Golden. Sorry about that one, brother. Your 45 put is not looking too good because we don't have enough time to work on that one. But guys, let's finish up this options lesson for the day because I think everybody's really enjoying it. And we're going to dig a little bit more into it, and we're going to close up the options wheel session. By the way, I got out of my Tesla position because that breakout failed. Well, it didn't fail. It worked. I just didn't get it out quick enough. And then Google decided to start selling. All right, guys? So stock selection. This is really important, guys. So when we're picking a stock that we want to run the options wheel on, stick to boring stocks, avoid high volatile assets, right? So I used our XLF reference. This is something that you exactly really want to look at. So sector ETFs are a really good choice. That way, you're not going to collect that much premium, but you're getting the best of the best companies in each sector, the heaviest weighted ones, and then you can own them, and they tend to appreciate in the right way. So technicals matter. Stick to strong trending companies. So we went and used back to the XLF, or companies like Walmart. They're really strong and they trend, right, guys? So this is something that you want to look from a technical standpoint. So in a primary bull trend or consolidating with the potential of a move higher. So you know that you're getting yourself into something that has already proven from a history standpoint that it is going to appreciate in price and looks like it could potentially move higher, all right? So that's something that you want to keep an eye out for. The more expensive the asset, the more capital requirements. So again, if you're looking to run the wheel on things like Meta and Netflix, those are going to require a hefty penny. You're going to need those that cash in your account, or you're going to need to buy leaps, which will reduce the cost significantly, but it's a little bit different to employing the strategy, all right? So the more expensive the asset, the more capital requirements, all right? So there are good companies ranging in different prices. You don't always need to buy the $200 stocks, and that was my reference to the sector ETFs and Walmart and other good companies like that, all right? So like Walmart is a really good company that you can run the options wheel on as well too, guys. So moving forward, fundamentals matter when operating the options wheel. We don't want to operate the options wheel on a company like WBA where they have just been beaten to a pulp and they continue to miss on estimates and not have good reports. These are things that we want to avoid. We want to stick to things that are strong and that have proven that they work and that are going to prove that they will continue to work. So we are eliminating that speculative aspect kind of on the weaker companies, expecting them to start printing more healthy quarters, etc. You don't want to select stocks with declining revenues, continuously missing on Wall Street's estimates, such as EPS and revs, as I just stated. The depth you dive into the fundamentals is subjective. Finding basic key fundamental metrics will help you with consistency. So as I mentioned, EPS, rev, you can look at forward outlooks when they release their earnings report, like today, TSM raised full year outlook. So that's something that you want to keep an eye on, using the price to earnings ratio. So that way you can see if the stock is relatively cheap or expensive compared to its peers and the overall market. All right, guys. So those are things that you just want to keep it simple. The more simplified you keep your systems, the easier they will be for you to employ. And unfortunately, Tesla is running higher and higher, and I got out of the trade, but that's okay. So the triple income strategy, this is why they call it the triple income strategy, all right? Income one, collect premium from the cash secured puts, okay? We went over this before. They pay you to buy shares you would like to own at the price that you want to own them. That's why they like this, right? So it may seem intense, but this is why people run the strategy while Tesla is running, okay? Income two, collect premium from selling the covered calls, all right? Collect cash while your leg of stock appreciates and covered calls do not close in the money, all right? So income three, collect cash when your covered call gets assigned and you sell your shares. So these are the three income ways, positive income. Yeah, exactly, boom, boom, boom. And that's how you continuously make money in the options wheel, guys, is you have three ways that you can continuously grow your account while owning stocks that you want to own and collecting options premium the same way, guys, all right? So that's how it works, and then you just put it all together, and from step by step, what you want to do is you find a stock that you want to own, is trending in the right way, has good fundamentals, and then you want to operate the options wheel on it, do your fundamental and technical due diligence, right? So you know what you're getting into. You sell your cash secured puts, then wait to get assigned, then start selling covered calls. Once those covered calls get assigned, repeat step one. So it is the continuous wheel that can create consistent cash flow, guys. I hope you liked the options wheel today, and there's been a lot of good questions in the chat. We want to see some more good questions in the chat, guys, so put them in there. But as of that, it's a very simple strategy. It's not overly complicated, and a lot of investors and traders operate this strategy because of the consistency and the multiple levels of income you can create on this asset. So that's the options wheel. Sharif, what's Kyle Burdett up to over there?
Big smile.
What is he up to?
I don't know, man, but I'm talking to Pitchbull. I'm talking to Mikey. Mikey's pumped that we've got an options person on the show.
Oh, Mikey, yeah.
Yeah, man. He's like, since when do you guys talk about options?
Hey.
I'm like, well, that's why we're keeping it fresh. We scoop Joe, right? Because he's dropping hot lines about options. So you're getting a lot of love in the chat, man, and rightfully so. You're dropping hot lines. Beautiful. Shout out to you. Guys, you know what I'm going to say? NUZE. It's halted again, baby. This time at 2.25. Fabian, it's up a light, a decent, a not so good. 530% on the day. NUZE is the gift that keeps on giving, but it'll take. And so don't fall in love with the name. These are intraday trades. They're around for a good time, not a long time. That's kind of like the ABCs of trading these small cap gappers. Guys, I'm going to just tell you my 3 rules, kind of 2.5 rules, if I could say that. It'll make sense in a minute. 1, it has to be above the pre-market high, whatever that pre-market high is. There has to, by definition, there has to be a definable pre-market high. So I don't want to see none of that consolidation sideways in the pre-market. That's not what I'm looking for. We know these small cap gappers usually move quite aggressively in the pre-market because they've got no halt parameters until 9:30, right? So we know that. So definable pre-market high. Then after 9:30, it's got to be above the pre-market high. And it also has to be above VWAP for a breakout trade long or below VWAP for a breakout trade south. I haven't traded a lot of these guys short lately. I did a lot in I remember 2022, they would fade. They would have a very good, open, and then most of them would break down and they wouldn't continue into the afternoon. They break down below VWAP. So it was a good time for it then. I don't really see that as the time for it now. We'll see what happens when small cap season is over because it's not going to go on forever. Katina Man, how's that Google trade going? The Katina Man is long 163.60. He's well in the money there. Shout out to him. If you guys didn't know, I'll bring it to you again. There was Google action there price action as a result of the executive who oversees search and advertising is leaving their role at Google, being reported by the Wall Street Journal, and now Google down about 3/4 of a point, but the Katina man was able to catch that bottom, baby, and he's printing, so shout out to him. NUZE still halted, guys, at $2.24. I was about to say 2.25. It halted at exactly, let's find out over here.
He's buzzing, let's go.
Hey, what are you doing over there? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I got out of my Tesla trade too early, which is unfortunate. Now I'm doing a little bit of a chase bands on Andy.
He's killing it with the.
Give me a fail.
Somebody's telling me when he kept hitting the beep, like the ping, while you were dropping hot lines. People were like, yo, I keep checking my phone, man. My phone's going off. Fabian, you were getting people to worry. There we go. NUZE open, guys. Here we go. There it is. New high a day as this monster continues to print highs. Look at that zig and zag. It goes to 233. Now it's going to halt at 210. Let's see if this is a false halt at 210, 209 right now. Showing a lot of greenery over here, but nothing moving. We need 10 seconds of this, guys, in order for it to halt in this way. If this is new to you, this is what we call, the halt parameter. It's got to be at that level for around 10 seconds at that price, and it'll halt. It is now down halted at $2.10. Lots of action today on NUZE. I'm seeing the tap right now. The theoretical auction price is $1.94, so below the close. Now, keep in mind that we're still very much in a bullish trend on NUZE, downward halt and all. Why is that? Well, we're above the $2 level. We're above the 10 exponential. And so it's absolutely fine for us to have a retracement. Look what we did over here. We had a 4-candle retracement on the 5, and we ended up making new highs. So let's not write this one's obituary quite yet. There may be more to be taken out. Let's see what it does with $2. Maybe I'll have a resting order in and around $2 for that bad. Well, let's go to the trade that we've been holding that was boring me to death. Where is it at? Okay, all right, we're back in the money on TNXP. I'm gonna look for around 20 pennies now. So we're printing 19 1/4. I'd like to take it out through the high of the day. The high of the day, guys, 19 3/4 pennies. We're talking about 19 3/4 penny, not $19 3/4. That's what we're talking about here. So 20% in the green. We'll see if we can get that continuity to the top side. Let's flip over to some large caps and see what they're up to. We haven't been waxing poetic about these Mag 7s in a hot minute. All right, Meta's still putting in lower highs, guys, for a flat bottom break. Like, this is looking very possible that we could get a flat bottom break on Meta. How many lower highs and basically area defends are we going to get before we get a flat bottom break? I mean, 582 and a third local high, 581.75 local high, 581.10 local high, lower high, lower high, lower high, flat bottom at VWAP. Should be interesting. Should be interesting here on Meta. Is this reflective of the overall, Mag 7? Well, yeah, we're kind of getting the same look here on the NQ December contract, the symphony of lower highs with that kind of same hold up at the volume weighted average price. It's a little bit off VWAP right now. I'm talking about the future. Very similar charts today between Meta and the NQ December contract. Look at this, double bottom, comes up, tests that neckline, that VWAP line. Like, look at this. I mean, there is quite a degree of overlap between the charts on Meta and the chart on the NQ. Sometimes we see that with NVIDIA. Sometimes we see it with Apple. It really depends on who's moving the market that day. So we'll pack our patience, see what's up. I don't have anything right now on the, correction. Your boy Tesla just broke out.
Yo, dude, I was just saying.
My bad.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. No, I didn't hear it.
I punched out of it.
Sorry.
Man, I went against my own game plan. This is my look at the market today. This is me looking at the market today. You know what I mean?
I'd like to be able to bully Trenda now that Adara and
is that Squirtle?
What's her name? Adara and Ram aren't here. Kill Trenda. It always finds its way onto the desk
like
somehow.
A Squirtle.
I don't know what it is, but Adara loves to defend Trenda, and I'm not sure why.
Trenda is your frienda.
No.
Trenda is your oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. Clip that, Darwin. Jokes. All right, Kyle Burdett. All right, SPY puts reloaded at 584.50. Let's get a real move down now. Shout out to Big Spile. He wants these markets to burn, baby.
He loves the puts, eh? He loves.
Oh yeah, man. He's very consistent about wanting all. Yeah. He doesn't like
Do
when
the
market
cover.
goes up.
Do the call credit spread, Kyle. I think you'll like that one, brother.
Lake South, talking about Donald John Trump. Let's bring in Donald John Trump. Oh, wow. NUZ is halted up again. This is great, bro. Let's bring in DJT, and then we'll look at NUZ in a second. What's DJT doing? Okay, VWAP. Just took VWAP, and here we go. Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows with that flat top. At VWAP, can Donald John Trump become Donald John Pump? Let's see, 31.25. I happened to catch that interview on Fox News yesterday. I'm not going to opine, but hey, it's something to keep your eye out on. Yesterday there.
Is that what we're leaning towards here?
I don't know, man. I just watched it yesterday. It was interesting. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, DJT on the way up, man. I'd like to see if can we take out that flat top on a decisive basis, possibly squeeze, get back green, Joe. 31.25 goes green, high of the day, 31.18. Essentially the same level. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Kyle, I do not want everyone's house to burn, just most of them, but mine and a few others. Big Spile, why do I read your message?
Yeah.
Right? He's so jokes.
Yeah,
anyway, Greg V, not a bad backside setup, says DJT. Yeah, you're not wrong, Greg. That's your boy, right?
Yeah, it's my boy.
Yeah,
Greg
it's looking really good, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, Joe. I'm gonna pack my patience here on Donald John Pump, but we'll have to keep an eye out on this one. It looks good here, breaking through VWAP. If it can break through VWAP, I really like the higher low setup.
Yeah, good looks there, Sharif. If we could pull up my chart here, I just want to go over my Teslas. Here, we were in here, stopped out here. Oops, sorry. We were in here, stopped out here, punched in again, got the move, and then we got stopped out, break even there, just a little break even, and then I punched in again and took the break-even stop, and then now you can see what the asset is doing now. So that's exactly why I was looking at this setup, that price compression, and then you have the volume step in. That's exactly what you're looking for as a breakout trader, all right? But we're in here in some AMD. I mean, it's starting to do what we want. We got a little bit of the volume increase. Entry slightly late. You guys know me. I want to get that as tight to VWAP when price action is moving in my favor for sure, guys. So we're still holding some AMD. We're going to see if we can continue to the top side and get a volume influx, and then we can continue into 160 hopefully with AMD because we are making higher lows here. So that is what we want to see. Joe W, what do you think about lead calls on Tesla at this level? I mean, hey, I'm not opposed to that at all. If you're looking to own Tesla for a year or so plus out, then that's not a bad look, brother. I mean,
there it is. Sorry, I got to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Neil astutely put in the chat that there was a wall of sellers at $30 on DJT. That just got blown through. 30.15. We're squeezing now on Donald John Trump. Here we go. Wow, there goes the 3.25. Watch this, guys. We're still down 3%, but look at this.
Wow.
Buying, come in, bro. Just taking out the top there. You feel that shorts are getting squeezed here because this is quite aggressive. So look at this move into the third of a dollar. Can we see half? I mean, what's the move here, Joe? I'm not punching in at these highs. It's got to come down.
Greg says he's long from 30. Greg says he's long DJT from 30, so hey.
Yeah. There it is. No, Neil was bang on with that, man, because there was a wall of selling. I loaded it up as soon as I saw Neil's comment in the chat, and it looked like to me to be an iceberg order because you didn't see the size posted on the level 2 at 30, and then you just had that break aggressively. So I'm assuming a lot of people got squeezed out of their shorts. That's why we saw that tape teleportation, that liquidity grab, as the OB. He is the one Knob always says. Now, what's the move, though? I mean, I don't like punching in at highs, guys. It's going to have to come down. I'm going to have to chart this on the 5-minute for me to get in. Otherwise, I don't want to get in on this like that. 30.50 possible resistance on DJT. Let me show you what I'm looking at. There was an area trough in the morning that we could reject off. Here's where we're at right now. And this is the level I was looking at, 30.50. This 8:55 candle. Again, don't want to put too much stock into something that printed pre-market, but this candle at 8:55 had 260,000 shares. By comparison, this candle that we just printed, 278,000 shares. So not entirely dissimilar there in terms of volume. Coming back down now, Joe, let's see if we can weasel something into 30 bucks. If $30 wants to act as support, seeing that it acted as resistance prior, I'm all in favor of adding or getting in, at that level. Let's see what happens. Sorry to interrupt you, Joe.
No, not at all. When things are buzzing, that's exactly what we want. We need to get to those cuts absolutely quick. And I mean, everybody's in DJT right now. The volume's starting to step in, and that's exactly what you want to see. So yeah, I mean, it's still down about 3% or so on the day. So a nice recovery here and some action, some nice price action, some nice volatility stepping in, guys. But AMD is absolutely ripping to the top side, and thank you. This is exactly what we need. So let's see if we can break out. Let's see if we can push to 160, hopefully by the end of the session. Who knows? But this thing needs some strength. It's about time it recovers a little bit. Been selling since the MI 350 show, so it hasn't been pretty. Hasn't been fun to sit in. Absolutely. So I know there's a couple guys in the chat there that have that. So guys, we don't got much time left, only a half an hour. I hope you guys enjoyed the options wheel lesson today. Good stuff. I had fun talking about it. So keep throwing your questions in the chat. I know there's been some fantastic questions, and we're going to continue to answer those the best we can. But as of right now, it looks like we're going to take a little profit here on AMD, just because I don't know if it's going to start to pull back. I mean, if you look at the Qs, up about 0.6%, just under about 0.7, and then we still have the SPY sitting around about 0.3% positive on the session. So we like to see that, guys. Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, Avgo, AVGO, guys. Yeah, so that's Broadcom. I mean, they're looking with that whole Intel, a potential acquiring Intel, but they say it's a bad deal if the fabs come in with Intel too. So you don't want to own the factories. So I don't know what's going on with Broadcom. I think it just made all-time highs not too long ago. Let me pull it up for you real quick. Pull up AVGO, and then we'll see what's going on with Broadcom, if it's continuing to push. I mean, oh yeah, that's fantastic, up about 4% on the day, just a little bit up over 4%. So, I mean, good look on Broadcom here. It's actually been trading really, really well lately. So if you're looking to join this trend, you got the nod from me to continue. So, yeah, Lance Streifler, yeah, like options wheel, brother. So go back, watch the lessons. We have other lessons on options as well, too. Sharif was talking ATR yesterday as well, too. So, yeah, you got all those lessons, brother. So go back, get your pens and your papers, and watch and just take notes, and then start messing around on the options chain. But as for Broadcom, you're starting to put in this continuous trend to the top side, looking to break all-time highs again, probably in the near future too, brother. What do you got going on?
Yeah, I just wanted to shout you out, man, because Adam Deleuze giving you love there in the chat says the options wheel was fantastic, very well presented. Shout out to Adam there. Jeez. Adam. Prem is back, baby.
Making me blush.
Saturday. I'm pumped for the Prem, man. I hate international breaks. Come on, leave that for the summer. No, Prem is back, Adam, and I think we got Bournemouth at home or something like that. Good game, by the way. Liverpool-Chelsea Sunday. That should be an interesting game. We know Liverpool's fantastic this year, but hey, man, Chelsea's coming up, and I don't like them because they're a London team and they're a rival, but hey, man, new coach. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry, bro.
That's all right, buddy.
Yeah. Well, it's like, we can still be friends. But,
sports.
Yeah, Chelsea, great new coach. I got to say, they had like 40-something players on their roster. Can only play 11 at a time, obviously, so they had to cut a lot of people. They were selling some people. So that was a good look there. Let me know what you guys think about the Prem coming up, baby. I don't know how to say your name, so I don't want to butcher it, but you want me to look at Uber. Let's have a look at Uber. So let me give you the more information today. We got a headline that Uber is possibly interested in acquiring Expedia. And now Uber's not confirming this, and we know for a fact that there hasn't been an offer made by Uber, nor are there ongoing talks, apparently according to this article. However, the interest from Uber is set to be based on some desire for them to create a super app. Neil astutely brought this point up in the morning. He's like, can you really create a super app without messaging, without this, without that? I agree, because we know what Elon wants to do with X, right? And he kind of wants that WeChat kind of thing that they got there in China. No equivalent for that in North America or anywhere else in the world, from my understanding. But WeChat is like, you can pay with it. You can hail rides. You can chat. And it's WeChat, right? Essentially wanting some sort of super app. I don't know if Google's the one to do it. What's up?
I mean, I just kind of put a couple things together.
Yeah,
You're like,
hear it.
well, with the X, because now he's got robo-taxi and everything. So the man is slowly putting together the most mastermind plan probably that this planet has ever seen.
Yeah, I think he's a once-in-a-generation type person, but I'll just leave, whatever. So that is the look there. Uber, on the day though, you want to ask about where I feel it's going to be next week. That's probably a question for Joe, because he's the one that does these option strategies, and so he's probably got to know where it's going to be next week. But I can look at some TA for you. And I'm looking at the 4-hour right now on Uber. Shut up. And look at this area right here that we held up at yesterday and today. Well, it coincides with a previous area crest that we rejected on between September 24th and September 26th. We got into that 78.5 and then dropped back to 72. And then we printed big into 87. Now look where we are. Well, we're finding support right at that area crest. Now, do we hold up there? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But if I had to guess, I would say Uber is above 78.5 by next week. It holds this area low. Let's do some more charting, though. Let's go to the daily. What's the trend on Uber? Well, there you go, man. A symphony of higher lows and higher highs. And this company is actually now printing a profit, right? So hard to say, dude, but I think maybe something around mid-80s. Again, it really depends on the market, though. Are you looking at Tesla?
Yeah, Tesla.
Everybody's yelling about Tesla in the chat that it's pumping. What are you looking at there? What's your...
I was just about to go over some of the sectors because I'm watching Tesla just absolutely run to the top side without your boy, so that's okay. Guys, we'll take a look at some of these sector ETFs here. We'll see what the consumer discretionary is up to, and that is what Tesla would be a part of here, guys. So, I mean, it's starting to recover a little bit. It was sitting around $197, starting to recover a little bit on the day. So I think that would mean some good for Amazon and Tesla. All right, so we got that look, guys. Then we got consumer staples, which is what we need. So we got Walmart and all those boys. Costco, I think, is on this as well, too. So it's actually one of the weaker sectors on the session, guys. And that's okay, because look at this trend. Like, if you're looking to run the options wheel on something, this is something that you would want to look at. I've mentioned XLF, but this is also it. So you can maybe sell in this area where we got this little bit of a shelf, so some 79, sell some 79 puts or even some 80 puts and let that price come to you, and then you can own that for a nice little bit and then collect some appreciation profit on there as well too. And then we'll look at the we'll look at the energy. It's kind of flat, total flat. So hey, that's it for the sectors, guys. And I think we're going to head this off to Sharif for some ads.
We got to pay bills. All right, guys, eSignal. You can trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to that elite trading experience. You can analyze, strategize, and certainly capitalize by foreseeing profitable opportunities with the platform that you need. You get infinite data. You get instant trading. You know where the market is moving before others with that lightning fast data execution. It's got charts that change a game, man. Customize and analyze the market faster in the way that you want. It's also got better backtesting and better scanning. You can certainly try to predict the future by better understanding the past, and that reliable real-time data that we all covet. You get up to the second market info from hundreds of global markets. It's everything you need all in one place, so don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now if you're ready to elevate your trading. Get on, scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen, or go into the description of this video and click the link there. Shout out to Fabian. Thank you for always keeping me honest with these ad reads. Sometimes I forget, even though I set up the reminders on my phone. All right, guys, let's have a look here at DJT. I was trying to weasel into this trade here. I didn't get filled. I tried to get filled at 20s. It was too spready. I was surprised by that because I put an offset of 2 or 3 pennies and it didn't fill me. So what I was looking at doing, or what I'm still possibly looking at doing, is using 30 as a level, right? So we already know we got a big break through 30, kind of that flat top break with a hidden seller, and then we squeezed, lo and behold, to 50 pennies. Well, what's that 50 pennies? Oh, that's right. It's that 805 candle in the pre-market as a low that we couldn't break through. And let me just remind you again, in case you didn't hear it the first time, this is the look over here on this 805 candle. We weasel into this candle over here, 855, excuse me, not 805, 855. We printed 260,000 shares in the pre-market there. Let's just do a comparison. So this candle over here, the one that we just finished printing, not the one that we're currently in, the red one, it's got 324,000. So not entirely dissimilar quantums of volume. So I think it's kind of doing the same thing over here at 350 in the same way that it did it at 30. Not 350, 3050, excuse me, that it did at 30, where we're going to maybe accumulate into that level and then maybe flat top break again. It doesn't have to be the same look. I personally would rather take it off 30. That way I've got an exact area where I can get out, give it 10, 15 pennies, right? But if I get in at 30 and a quarter, I got to give it to 30 because that's where VWAP is. That's where the breakout level was. So it's not my ideal area to weasel into it right now, but Donald John Pump, possibly into that $31.25 area. Big move up here today for DJT, but still red on the day. NUZ, another halt to the high side, $2.23. However, it is still 10 pennies short of that high of the day that we printed at a quarter after the hour. Great looking inverse hammer candle right now on NUZE. And let me give you the tap, the theoretical auction price, $2.27, 4 pennies above the closing or the halt level there, but still south, obviously, of that high of the day. It's been, even though it's been a multi-halter, look at this. It's been very respectful of the moving averages. Look at the deeper retracements. Just absolutely respect the 20. The 20, in case you're wondering, is the yellow line on my chart. Very respectful of the moving average. And what that says to you is that it's obviously trending in a way that's kind of predictable. Not all of them are going to trade this way, believe me. So NUZE, certainly on watch, did well on it, looking to do a bit even better. Let's look now at the trade that we've been holding for a hot minute. I've been waiting at 20 pennies over here on TNXP, and it's not giving it to me. The best it could do was at 19, what is this, 19? About 19.75 pennies. All right, so I'm waiting at 20. We'll see if we get filled in and around there. Still holding the 10 exponential moving average, but showing me some weakness here, Joe. Let's see what else is going on. All right, Donald John Trump coming back down here. Let's see if it wants to touch 30. And if it does get to 30, does it hold up in the same way that it was rejecting it? Here comes 30.13. Let's watch. It just wicked, I believe, 11s or so. Still high or low. Look at this candle over here that we printed at 133. The low of this candle, excuse me, was $30.77. So we're holding above that for now. Underline that for now. Do we mean revert here on DJT? Trying to think about how to weasel my way in here. Jay Lee, one of the OGs in the chat. Boyle, back to all-time lows. Yes, I held my swing from 8 to 12, back to 8. LOL, I just got some more for the swing. In my humble opinion, bottom is here again. Jay, I love your insistence on trading Nat Gas. Look, dude, I know one day you're going to print big on it because you know how this one's going to run. Let me just digress a little bit here. So the government of the province in which we live, the Ontario government, yesterday announced a couple of new energy plans to expand energy in this province because according to them, by 2050, we're going to need 75% more energy output than we currently have. Why? Because we're building data centers and we're trying to aggressively push the EV kind of agenda. Now, if we do that and do it successfully, we're going to need big boy energy. So where am I getting to here? Well, they don't want to rely entirely on nuclear. Now, we've heard all the big hyperscalers want to do this whole SMR thing, small modular reactors. However, our government here, which you could say is, you know, more diversified, I guess, in energy. All right. I'm trying to be serious for a second.
Where are we going with
I
that?
know. No, I'm talking about the Ontario government, not the federal government. But in any event, the point is, they want to rely on nat gas as a backup. They're like, at certain times, we don't have the capacity to meet the demand. So at those times, we turn on the nat gas, and it's always going to kind of be that backup system. Now, do you want to be like, are you comfortable being the backup system? Because it looks like more people are going. It looks like nuclear is, you know, back in vogue. From what I can kind of.
I think that's the narrative. I think that's.
Yeah, so that's my little spiel there. SMR or ASMR says, what's his name? Adam, shout out to him. Jay Lee, and sadly, wind blew. Yeah, okay, yeah, 500 million taking nat gas back. And then she put all the windmills up there. So shout out to Kathleen Wynne. She was my MP in the area that I live. I always see her running in the morning. She's a hell of a runner.
Didn't Dalton McGuinty? Oh, remember that guy? That guy Dalton.
Remember Dalton?
Remember Dalton?
Dalton, the OG Dalton.
Yeah, Dalton. Yeah. You want to talk about blowing cash, maybe?
These Americans are like, what are these guys talking about, man? We just want to talk about DJT. Yeah, I'm talking about DJT. We've got it right here, guys. All right, DJT, guys, coming back into that $30 area. We're putting in lower lows and lower highs now. I want to see if we get to 30, hold up at 30. I'm not going to have a resting order there. It's going to have to prove that that's going to be a resistance level. DJ dang T, good look again. But listen to this, NUZ up again near days high. Just printed another day high, Joe. 250, 247
Look
printing
at the
right
grin.
now.
Look at the
This is a
grin.
great look right now.
Look at the grin.
Great look. Great look. What's going on over there, Katina, man?
Oh, no, nothing.
He's talking about Palantir. All right, now the conversation is taking a turn that he likes. I like it. All right, Joe, we're still waiting in TNXP here. We got back into that high day, but we're still eluding that 20 penny area that I've been waiting for. So it looks like we're destined to go unfilled over here on this bad boy. What are you looking at, Joe?
I'm looking over here at the bad boy of the market. We got NVDA. It's starting to crawl a little bit higher. Maybe we can go and breach that all-time highs, and then we can hold it. So as you can see, guys, it's just continuing to crawl to the top side. And I think that's something that exactly you want to see in this stock. So it's really strong. It's continuing to go, and you don't want to fight it. So even though the market is a little bit choppy, SPY hasn't moved too much throughout the whole session that we were talking, just about 0.4% now, and the SPY about 0.75% there as well too, guys. Or sorry, the Q is about 0.75 of a full percent there, guys. So we're just gonna hold on. We're gonna see if we can get into NVDA and take this with the long. But as of right now, we're gonna wait. We're gonna hold our horses. We're gonna wait to get into this position a little bit here. If we can get a pullback and we hold this level, then maybe we look to take a long here as well too, guys. So just hold on to that. But I mean, we're starting to crawl higher and higher. If it breaks this pivot high, then I don't see any reason why we don't go for the high of day and then potentially hold that all-time highs, guys. So throw it in the chat what you guys are looking at. I know a lot of people in the chat were looking at Pixie, so we'll take a look at Pixie. I seen it come up on the gappers list as well too, which is starting to move a little bit to the top side. It was hot this morning. It had a lot of volume. It's since dwindled and continues to kind of hold this level. So you're gonna wanna, if you're gonna play this breakout, you're gonna wanna wait and see and wait for the volume to step in here before it can potentially crawl any higher. All right, guys. So that's the look on Pixie. I know a lot of people were looking at that today. So yeah, guys, just let us know. We only got about 14 minutes left in the session, guys. So any questions on the options boil, please just let us know. Put them in the chat. I feel like we answered a good amount today. And
I have a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so a lot of people have margin accounts, right? I mean, there's a lot of reasons you need margin accounts.
Yeah.
Intraday
Leverage
trade, take
yourself.
shorts, stuff like that.
Leverage yourself.
So and leverage obviously goes without saying.
Yeah.
Now here's the issue. When you have margin, sometimes you don't determine if you're buying with your cash or with your margin. Sometimes it just uses your margin.
Yeah, then you'll get charged like the overnight lending
So
fee.
that's fine. That's not my question. The question is, can you sell covered calls on stocks that you've purchased partially with margin?
As long as it doesn't chew up all of the capital.
Got it.
Okay.
Great answer.
Yeah. So as long as like you still have some margin, even though like you'll need the minimum margin requirements at that point, right? So like the base here in Canada is like $2,500.
Okay.
So you just always want to give yourself that little bit of a buffer into the account. And plus, you don't want to allocate 100% of your capital to one position as well too, right? So as long as you have that little bit of a buffer, then you can start selling calls against that position.
Interesting. That's good to know, man. Because that's a good question. West, y'all. Yeah, that's my question. Shout out to you. Logi or Logi. Anyone in SMCI, what's your exit? Cheers. Let's have a look at SMCI because we were dealing with this one a little bit earlier. And I traded it yesterday as well. Let's load up SMCI. It was a bit of a bamboozler today. Let's have a look at what it's doing right now. Oh, wow. Nice double bottom there. Looking to go VWAP. I'd say, well, my first profit taker, I'd be gunning for that 48.55, 48.5. If that one kept going, then I'm looking for yesterday's closing print at 48.75. That's a good look there. Now, I mean, realistically, how high do we get up here? You've got a double bottom, so you've got possible reversal pattern. You've got the pre-market low over here. We're at 50.25, but I really doubt we go that aggressively green on SMCI today, at least not intraday, maybe by tomorrow. So I'd be wetting my beak at 55 to account for VWAP. I'd also be looking to get some more out at 75 to account for the yesterday closing print. I hope that helps, and I hope other people have levels on that if they want to chime in. Absolutely be willing to hear what you guys have to say. NUZE halted again, guy. Oh, no, it's not. It just printed 261. Okay, I thought it was halted for a second. Here it is, right back above the high of the day. 262. It's going to halt at 262 here if we don't drop. It hasn't been false halting. So, I mean, I've watched, 5, 6 halts of this today. Neither of them have been false, nor is this one. Halted again. Good look here for whoever's holding NUZE. We were gone from this one here at 192. Now it's up well higher above that. Good luck for whoever's trading this. Shout out to you. Random oddities. Where do you think this market would be if brokerages still charge $6.99 a trade? Great question, bro. Some still do in this country.
Like TD, man. Like that's why it's like, get out of here, TD.
Bro.
Who's paying $10 a ticket? Like,
bro, it's crazy. It's crazy. And if you want to use Thinkorswim, like, because they won't give that. You got to put $25K in the account minimum to use Thinkorswim on this side of the border.
I think on the other side too. I think if you have a TD account, but TD changed to Schwab. Charles Schwab.
That's down south, though.
Yeah, that's in south. And I think you got Bookmap for free, too. I think a lot of guys got that. For like 20, not free, like $20 a month or something like that. Which is extremely expensive here. So, yeah.
That's not bad, though.
No, I mean, Bookmap is fantastic,
It's like $100 a month here.
Yeah.
One of the traders used to have it. He's still using it. Shout out to Cal. Cal, if you're in the chat, let me know, man.
Shout out Cal.
Jay Lee. One cool side note. NVIDIA was $50 at the start of 2020. What? Was $50. Oh, yeah, split adjusted. At the start of 2024. Just saying, it's a pretty nice jump from 50 to 140 for the buy and hold crowd. Sometimes wonder if we waste our time day trading. You and I have thought the same way, but I still think that there is benefit to this, obviously, because you can do both at the same time, Jay, right? Just allocate, different portions of your account to this, or just get on to the best prop firm over here at Real Trading. If you're in Canada, if you're not, trade the pool. Give them a shout. Have a look. If you don't have your own buying power, you can definitely do that as well. So shout out to Trade the Pool. Random oddities. Wow, I didn't know Canada still charged. Yes, they do. And it's not just TD. There's other banks that charge exorbitant amounts as well. It's not, the only option we have. Like, I use a brokerage over here, which costs me pennies to get in and out.
That's the beauty of it.
That's the truth. Zach. To day trade with Thinkorswim, 25K has to be in the account. Yeah, I know. I checked with them before. I have TD. TD is my main institution for everything I do. My mortgage, my car payments, everything is with TD. And they couldn't care less. So, you still need to put $25,000 in your brokerage account. Like, Well, I'm not taking it out, so get out of here. Shout out to you. Thank you for chiming in on there. You're getting some love there from Volky in the chat.
Oh, what's he say? What Volky
Have a look.
Saying? Volky, great job, Joe. Really enjoy your perspective on options and investing. Wow, thanks.
Bang.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, thank you, Volky. That means a lot, man.
Love, man.
Yeah, that means a lot, Volky. Yeah, I can't say enough. That warms my heart, no doubt. Man.
All right, guys, let's have a look at TNXP over here. I've been waiting forever at 20 pennies. Now we're breaking through the high of the day right now on TNXP, 1977, and not the year, but the actual price level. So let's see if we're able to break. Here we go. 1995 now is the high of the day. I'm still waiting at 0.2. So looks like I'm, for now, destined to go unfilled. The last remaining position that I have on the day, looking to get filled at 20 pennies. Respectable name, up 25 some odd %. So that's a look. Let's see if we get filled. If we don't, that's all right. Todd McLean, care to show the gold chart? Mate, new all-time highs. Say less, my friend. I will absolutely pull up GC for you, my man. Here we go. Let's load up GC. Let's just assign it to this one over here, Fabian. We're going to do it quick. There we go. There we go. GC. This is the futures contract. And there you go. This is the future. I'm not looking at the index, obviously. This is the continuous contract. You'll always be able to know that it's a continuous contract vis-a-vis that infinity sign that it has on the top corner there. 2712.7. That is all-time highs. Yeah, gold's been fantastic, man. Who can say anything about gold? My buddy Alfred just hates gold.
How?
I don't know why. He inherited some from his old man, and he wanted nothing to do with it. Sold all that gold, bought Tesla in 2019.
Oh, okay. So he's doing all right then.
He did well.
Yeah, so he did well, all right. But hey,
he doesn't like gold.
Yeah, I don't. How do you not like gold?
That's his story. That's like his claim to fame. His 2019 Tesla buy.
Tesla play. All right.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Like that was a print factory over there for him. Shout out to Alfred.
Yeah, we got someone in the chat saying, Joe, can you take a look at CART, Maple Bear Inc.? I'm not too sure what these guys are doing, but I mean, they absolutely look like they're trading to the top side there. So I mean, if you're long in this stock, then good on you, especially if you got into these areas here, caught the bottoms on that stuff. But I'm not too familiar with Maple Bear, so that's the look on CART. And then Wes asked me to look at BITO for him, BITI, or no, what's BITI per shares? So I don't know if this is optionable yet. You're saying you got in at like 37.85. I don't even see that price on here unless it got split or you've been holding for, oh, sorry, I'm on the 5 minute here. Sorry there, guys. Yeah, so let's take a look. At some point, Wes, like I was stating with the options wheel, eventually the premiums won't outweigh what the stock depreciates or appreciates. So at some point you need to, why is this like this? I don't know if this is a futures. I don't know, but it's not doing good. I'll have to look more into. Oh, it's a short. That's why. Yeah, Wes, get out. It's a short. It's an inverse ETF. So the more Bitcoin appreciates, this is something that you don't want to hold on to in a long position. All right. I mean, if you were shorting this, then that's absolutely the ideal way. But this thing is meant to dissolve at some point. All right. So. Yeah, you can sell as many calls as you want, and I don't think at this price it's going to do anything. Unfortunately, you're going to have to accept the loss and move on to the next one. All right, brother? So sorry about that, but yeah, just get rid of it because it's not going to be worth anything anytime soon, and you're not going to be able to collect any premiums. I'll be surprised if it's optionable. So that's a look on that one. NVDA is starting to sell a little bit. So was the overall market, guys. And I'm glad I got out of my AMD break even because exactly that, my narrative, in which I said earlier on the session, is that the sentiment around this stock is absolutely weak, and then it's absolutely selling. So if it's not moving, there's a couple sessions where the market was ripping and AMD was lagging, and then when the market would start selling, the selling volume started to accelerate. You don't want to be a part of those stocks, especially in the long leg, unless you're going for the short side, guys. So that's what I'm looking at here on AMD. And other than that, guys, fantastic session. We had a blast. I think we had an absolute blast today. Sorry, Joe, I want to sell call on British American Tobacco. Okay, yeah, West. So yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, but just by protection, do call credit spreads. Like I was telling Kyle Burdett that he's kind of bearish on the overall outlook of the overall markets. So instead of actually just buying puts where you actually need the asset to like drastically move in your favor, you can just do a call credit spread in that half. So I would look to do that, Wes. So that's another good look there, guys. And I mean, hey, the market's selling, and AMD is just living up to the weakness, I guess, in the overall in its name. So I don't know with this one, guys. So I know a couple people in the chat were saying, "Hey, Joe, should I swing it?" I don't know if I would be buying this right now for a swing. Again, it's up to you, but I would be avoiding that one to the fullest, brother.
All right. Something's coming into my level. MTEM. All right, just going to look at this real quick over here. MTEM, it's coming into a level that I earmarked for an entry. So we got to look at this. Oh, there we go. It broke the downward channel. Someone brought this to my attention. I told them this ain't the move until it breaks the upward channel. There we go. And now we've broken above this high. Keep your eye out on this one. It is, it's a small cap gapper, MTEM, sub $1 name, up 146% though. This is a big boy mover. It's a different trade at $1 though, and it's getting awfully close, about 80 pennies. So MTEM getting its footing under it, and since basically 10:15 this morning, it's been higher lows and higher highs. So good luck. Good luck. I'm not going to trade this because we got like 1 minute left on the show, but this one is setting up. Let me show them one more, Fabian. LASE. I want to go to the 4 hour because somebody was asking me. Look at that, bro. Right. That's the mother of all bottoming tail hammer candles. Yeah. But I want to show the 4 hour because people are asking, or what's this person's name? Let's see. Bizwajipita. Sorry, bro. Can't pronounce your name. I apologize for butchering it, but this is one hell of a resistance level here at $9 on LASE, and you've seen me trade this, you've heard me talk about it. I like the fact that they have that anti-drone technology. They're spending up a storm advertising on CNBC almost every morning. I'm seeing their commercial. LASE is a ticker. But look at this. We come up into 9, a whole bunch of selling at 9. And it wasn't a surprise that it was doing that. Look at this area crest from back on September. We rejected right at that same level. So here's my suggestion to you. Be on the lookout for this area trough over here at $5 and change. Maybe $5.50, maybe $5. Look for an area hold up at the exact same area we held up. We held up at that area from September 11th to September 16th. We gave it up over here though, but look how quickly we reclaimed it. So that's number one. That's for a long. For a short, you could take the short right into that $5 area, or even better, that $2 area if we get down into those October 7th, October 9th, or 7th, 8, and 9 lows. But other than that, I don't have much of a play on lace. It's not something I'd hold overnight. It's something that we intraday trade. At least that's what I do. But it is now, Joe, 2 o'clock, and the big kahunas are locked and loaded, and they're ready to look at your tickers. And I got my out right on time, Joe. 20 pennies on TNXP. It's all over there. Pumped about this one. All right, big kahunas, what say you guys?
What up, everybody? That's absolutely...
NUZE just resuming right now. 294. Up 700.